under your wings. Cover me within your mighty hand. When the oceans rise and thunders roar, I will soar with you above the storm. Father, you are king over the flood. And I will be still and know you are God. For rest my soul in Christ alone. Know His love in quietness and trust. When the oceans rise and thunders roar, I will soar with you above the storm. Father, you are king over the flood, and I will be still and know you are God. I will be still and know you are God. I will be still and know you are God.
Bayang magiliw, pwes na silanganan, alam ng puso, sa litin mo'y buhay. Lupang linirang, tuwing ka nang magiting, sa manlulupig, di ka pasisigi. Sa lagat at bundok, sa simoy at sa langit bumakaw, may dilatang tula at awit sa paglayang minamahal. Ang isat ng mataw at may tagumpay na nagniningning, ang bituin at araw niya kailan pa may di magdidilim. Ang araw ng ating pagsinta, tuwa'y langit sa piling mo. Ang ligaya na patay malapit, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Of the things we think, say, or do.
Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendship? Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
In the beginning of creation, there was no you, but
again, a blessed afternoon to everyone, and welcome to the District 3810 All for the Youth, a seminar for youth service chairs and Interact Club advisors. To welcome everyone in today's program, may I present to you the DCC, our District Coordinating Chair for 3810, Sir Juanito Boycao. Magandang hapon, sir.
Magandang hapon. Thank you, DRC Chok. First of all, I would like to welcome everybody and good afternoon po, District Governor Robert Coa, this DS Edwin Seymour Chu, and all our Execom district officers to this very first project of the youth service program for this Serve to Change Lives year. I would like also to take this opportunity to congratulate the host club and the co-host club. Special mention to the Rotary Club of Metro Escolta for taking that task to organize this very important seminar, All for the Youth, a seminar for youth protection addressed to our LCPs, our youth service chairs, advisors, to our interactors, and also to our Rotaractors. This seminar is our standing commitment and statement of conduct, which provides the basic principle to which we should follow when working with young people in any capacity. This principle must be followed throughout Rotary, in the district, in our clubs, whether we are Rotarians, Rotaractors, or volunteers at all levels. Today, we shall adopt sensible procedures such as how to protect our youth and how to demonstrate Rotary's commitment to our youth. And most importantly, how to strengthen the trust of our young members and their families. All of this shall be our commitment and adherence to the bond between us Rotarians and our youth. So today, I would like again to welcome all of you to this very significant event, which we dedicate to our youth, all for the youth. So good afternoon and mabuhay po tayong lahat.
Maraming salamat, DCC Boycao, for that very inspiring welcome remark. Simula pa lamang po, we have already explained to you that this is our commitment to the young people of our organization, not only for the interactors, but also to all the youth of this nation. That is why in this call po, we also invited our friends from 3820 and also some teachers and schools who sent their youth protection officers in their respective schools and also their discipline officers. Katulad ng sinabi ni DCC Boyka, we want to explain to you the importance of protecting our youth, especially in this online setup now. I know that there are a lot of problems encountered by the young people in the online setup. Pero kasama din po doon, syempre, yung patuloy nating pagprotekta sa kanila sa mga activities na ginagawa natin as an organization or as a school, and also, of course, to continuously promote youth empowerment. That is our ultimate goal. And to continue with our program, I would like to give the microphone virtually, of course, to our SDG Joey Gabat of 3810 to deliver his special message to everyone.
Thank you, Sir Chuck. Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so good afternoon po sa inyong lahat. District Governor Robert Coa, fellow Excom members, LCP Vanessa Diaz, and members of the host club RC Metro Escolta, DCC Boycao, DDCC Gina Labuanan, DRC Chok and Cabo, DIC Ses and Cabo, DIR Poldeng Cabrera, fellow Rotarians, Interact Club advisors, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It is truly an honor and a privilege to become part of today's event, which is aptly entitled All for the Youth. It's a seminar specifically for the Interact Club advisors and youth service chairs. Before anything else, please allow me to congratulate the Rotary Club of Metro Escolta led by LCP Vanessa for spearheading this seminar. Knowing the track record of this club and the dedication and commitment of a multitude of people working behind the scenes, even at this early juncture, I know without a doubt that this activity will surely be a success. Okay, today's activity is of utmost importance as we will talk about three very important topics, namely the club advisors, the youth protection policies, and the need for collaboration. So to start with, first and foremost, today's event aims to provide an orientation about the roles and responsibilities of our Interact Club advisors. Just a bit of a trivia, the name Interact was actually coined by combining the words international and action, and officially started in 1962. As I speak, there are a total of 14,911 Interact clubs with a total of 342,953 interactors operating in 145 countries across the globe. Interact is an international organization of service that fosters leadership and responsible citizenship and promotes international understanding and peace. Interact clubs bring together young people ages 12 to 18 who want to connect with others in their community or school. Interactors have fun while carrying out service projects under the guidance of an Interact advisor. This is where the importance of an advisor comes into play. The latter acts as a liaison between the Rotary Club and the interactors, and between the Rotary Club and the faculty advisors for school-based clubs. The faculty advisors oversees the activities of the school-based Interact clubs and acts as a liaison between Rotary and the school administration. As such, I cannot overemphasize the significance of the advisors in the overall success of the Interact clubs. At this juncture, may I ask all those present here, all the advisors present here, to kindly raise your hand to be recognized. Pwede ko po ba kayong makita? Can I see a virtual raising of the hands? Okay. Okay, so may I request naman po ang ating mga Rotarians to please give a virtual hand of applause sa ating pong mga advisors, okay? Malaki po ang trabaho po no ngayong darating na taon. So ayan, thank you very much po dear advisors. Okay. Now moving forward, okay, we now go to the youth protection policies and why it is necessary. You know, in actuality, Rotary has a long history of providing service to the youth. Each year, more than 300,000 young people participate in Rotary programs like the Interact, the Rotary Youth Exchange, and the Rotary Youth Leadership Awards, or otherwise known as RAILA. Many clubs and district mentoring programs and other initiatives are likewise implemented to help young people. Unfortunately, no organization or program is invulnerable to abuse or crisis. They occur and do occur in even the most seemingly positive settings. This is where the Youth Protection Program of Rotary International comes into play, as this is a matter that we in District 3810 take very seriously. Youth protection is extremely important to Rotary as it is committed to creating and maintaining a safe environment for all the youth who participates in Rotary activities. To the best of their ability, Rotarians and their partner volunteers must safeguard the children and young people with whom they come in contact with and protect them from physical, sexual, and psychological abuse. And good intentions cannot protect the youth. As such, the district is committed to adopting sensible procedures and following specific guidelines that will ensure the protection of both program participants and volunteers, all of which will be thoroughly discussed later on by our distinguished guest speakers. Okay, and lastly, there's always a need for collaboration between Rotarians and advisors. No? Today's event aims to provide an avenue for youth service chairs and Interact Club advisors to connect and collaborate with one another. We in the district believe that the more people we involve in our activities, the greater our chances of success. As they say, in unity, there is strength. I am very positive that with the program laid out for all the participants here today I'm very sure that a healthy exchange of ideas will most likely occur. An exchange of ideas that I know will result in the future implementation of more impactful service projects for the benefit of our respective communities. And so without further ado, welcome to today's event. And again, good afternoon po everyone.
Maraming salamat, STG Joey, for that inspirational message once again. Sa sinabi ni STG Joey, ilang bagay yung nakuha ko, and gusto kong i-highlight yung idea of collaboration. It's not only a collaboration between the advisors and the Interact Club, but also working together with our Rotaractors and our Rotarians. Importante po talaga in our organization that we work together so that the impact that we would like to give to our, of course, community, no, ay talagang maibibigay natin ng maayos. At the same time, I would like to invite everyone, no, to join us in welcoming our District Governor Robert Coa for his message. Governor, magandang hapon po sa inyo.
Okay. Am I coming in? Okay.
Yes, sir. Malinaw po.
Okay. To the life-changing presidents, and of course, special mention to my life-changing presidents, Vanessa, from the host club, transformational presidents, my executive committee led by District Secretary Boy Cao, and of course, our DCC for Youth Service, past president, forever young Boy Cao, no? Kasi parati siyang boy. And of course, our charter president, Chok Incabo of the host club, who is also the chair for Rotary, and of course, the chair for Interact, Ses Incabo, advisors from the different Interacts and Rotary clubs and schools, guests from the different districts, district officers, Rotarians, Rotaractors, Interactors, and other dignitaries and guests, good afternoon. The youth service of Rotary recognizes the potentials that the youth and young adult holds. It recognizes the positive change can be implemented by younger generation through their leaderships and involvement in community service projects that enhance and foster peace and cultural understanding. The younger generation in the Rotary family are the youth service, and there are our investment in the future. By empowering fresh and brilliant minds like theirs, we are building a tomorrow that is better and sustainable. As cliche as it may sound, it is true that you have the responsibility and calling to create a world that empowers and allow them to maximize their potential. We, the more senior generation, are only here to enable and support them by opening opportunities for them and learn to grow into reliable, effective leaders. This life-changing year, I hope to empower more of the of our youth service. Hence, I encourage all Rotarians, especially our life-changing presidents, to connect more, if not reconnect, with your Rotaractors and Interactors. Involve them in your youth service and give them a platform to voice out and realize their ideas and innovations. It is in this way that we can truly achieve a change that is positive and long-lasting. To our district coordinating chair for youth service, past President Boy Cao, you have been showing exemplary work in support and guiding our youth service committee. With the help of our district Interact chair, Ses Incabo, and our district Rotaract chair, Chok Incabo, I am already assured that the youth of the Rotary is in good hands. I hope that in today's seminar, As we learn about youth protection, we realize the value of our youth, of our young people. I hope that we see them not only as a reason for why we are working hard to build a better world, but also as an untapped partner that are unstoppable if empowered. To our Rotaractors and Interactors, I assure you that you have my full support. Like a father to his children, I will see to it that you grow as an army of life-changing leaders that will shower more hope to our nations and to the world. Enjoy the rest of this seminar. Thank you, and more power. God bless to everyone.
Maraming salamat, Gov. Robert, for that inspiring message. Tama yung pong sinabi ninyo that our goal really is to unleash the potentials of the younger generation. And katulad mo ng sinasabi ninyo, ang ating DCC boys, the DIC says, will be there no, to really help us in achieving your goal as a governor to continuously empower the youth. Tama yung sinabi ni Gov, we are going to show full support not only, of course, to the interactors, but also to the advisors. Hindi ba? Kasama na po kayo. Kaya kayo yung namin tinawag in the youth service chairs para po makita ninyo nasaan ang District 3810 when we talk about empowering the youth. And speaking of our district, I would like to acknowledge lang the presence of our friends from District 3820 headed by their Youth Service Committee Chair, Mon Brasas. Maraming salamat aking kaibigan for joining us. May mga Interact advisors po tayo dito. And also, gusto ko lang malaman before we continue, in the chat box, can you please type your name and your school kung kayo po ay mga teachers or leaders of your school who are joining us in this youth protection seminar po. Gusto ko lang po makita yan mamaya. We will be acknowledging you one by one later. So at this point po, I will be calling, of course, the one who will introduce our first speaker. Let me call on our Assistant Governor, Patrick Camilon, who also served as the Interact Vice Chair for Cavite and Occidental Mindoro, to introduce our guest speaker. And by the way, bago ka magsalita, AG Patrick, gusto ko lang i-highlight na si AG Patrick po ay isang former interactor katulad ko. Hindi lang kami magka-batchmate, mas nauna lang ako ng kaonte. Hello, AG Patrick. Magandang hapon sa iyo.
Hello, good afternoon po. Hello, good afternoon. Yan, to our District Governor, Robert Coa, and fellow Rotarians, to all the EXICOM members and district officers, to all the life-changing president, and syempre, special mention ng aking mga classmates, transformational presidents, Interact Club advisors, and guests. Again, a pleasant afternoon to everyone. And it's an honor and pride for me to introduce our first guest speaker this afternoon. Our first guest speaker ay batang-bata pa po. When he was in elementary, he became a campus Jorn layout artist and as well as an ICT president. Year 2017 to 2008, he became the Barkada Contra Droga or BKD Vice President and started his Interact journey year 2018 to 2009, inspiring documentation chair. Year 2019 to 2021, he became the Barkada Contra Droga and Kabataan Contra Droga at Terorismo, kakaiba, President of Imus National High School, as well as producer of Teatro Imusenyo Band. He is also became an YESO Chief Executive Officer and INHX Imus National High School High Generation Producer and Cinematographer. He also became the Interact President year 2020 to 2021, transformational year, and currently our district Interact representative. By the way, he is a 4 years in Interact Club Service and awarded Interact Outstanding Service Award and Interact Leadership Excellence Award by Rotary Club of Imus, and awarded as one of the Outstanding Service Awards by the Rotary District 3810. Again, allow me to welcome our District Interact representative, John Paul Holding Cabrera.
Ay po, magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat, sa mga Rotarians, sa mga Rotaractors, Interactors, at sa mga club advisors po na nandito po ngayong araw, lalo na po kay District Governor Robert Coa po. Magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. Ako po si John Paul Cabrera, ang inyong District Interact Representative po. Allow me to share my screen po. Laura, pa-share naman nung screen, ay nung nung PowerPoint ko po para makita nyo po yung prepare ko po. Wait lang po Ayan. Ayan, so ang naibigay po sa akin na ang iaano ko daw po is why I joined Interact. So ikukwento ko po yung Interact journey ko kung nasabi po kanina ni IPP Patrick Camelon po na ako po ay 4 na taon na sa Interact. Yes, 4 na taon na po ako sa Interact. 4 na taon na po akong nag-service, kung tawagin nga po ng mga ate ko. Gurang na daw po ako sa Interact kasi ang tagal ko na daw po sa Interact. So, pa-next yung slide po. Ayan. So, sa 4 na taon ko po, ako po, nung unang taon ko po sa Interact ay naging inspiring documentation committee po. Taga-feature po ako, as in halos lahat ng event, andun ako sa mga, ang dami ko pong nasaksihan. Nakasaksi ako ng mga tree planting, ng mga medical mission, mga feeding program. Tapos nung pangalawang taon ko po, sabi po sa akin ng mga ate at kuya kong umalis na ng Interact na parang it's time na para mag-level up naman po ako. Naging champion, vice president internal po ako ng champion batch ng Rotary year 2019 to 2020. And after po nun, nung transformational batch na po, ako po ay naging presidente. Yun na po yung year ko. Nung nagulat nga po ako kasi nagka-pandemic, tapos sabi ko kakayanin ko bang mag-president sa gantong setting po, paano gagawin ko, yun po. So, and ngayon po ako po ang life-changing District Interact Representative po. Sa 4 na taon ko po sa Interact, marami po akong na-realize, marami po akong natutunan, ang dami
akin po na yung page.
Ayan, ang dami ko pong nakilalang tao, ang dami ko pong nakilalang mga Rotarians around the world. Ayan, so pa-next naman po yung slide. Ayan. Ayan. Joining an Interact Club po is a life-changing way to shape your young mind into a meaningful one. Once you make your dream Interact projects ideas a reality, you never going want to stop. So, ayan po yung parang naging motto ko na parang sa mga sinasabi ko sa mga bagong members ko. Pag nakapasok kayo ng Interact, once na masama na kayo sa mga district events, sa mga feeding programs, sa mga community service, ayaw nyo nang tumigil. Magiging meaningful na yung buhay nyo once na nakapasok na kayo. Sa 4 na taon ko po sa Interact, meron din po akong 4 na natutunan. So, pa-next po yung slide. So, ang una ko pong natutunan ay it teach me the value of the community service. Kasi yung mga, nung nakita nyo po nung mga una, nung mga sinabi po ni IPP Engineer Patrick Camelon na ako po ay marami na po akong org na nasalihan nung bata pa po ako. Pero nung mga sinalihan ko na po yun, iba po siya sa Interact. Kasi yun po parang pag may meeting lang po, sinasama lang po ako. Pag may mga events sa school, ganun lang po. Tapos nung pumasok po ako ng Interact, ang unang project ko po agad na nasamahan ay ang medical mission. Sabi ko, hala, grabe, kakaiba naman pala tong Interact. Hindi lang sila yung nagawalis-walis lang dyan, nag-aayos lang ng upuan. Sabi ko, hala, iba pala to. Iba pala tong nasalihan ko, kakaiba. Parang mababatak agad ako. Sabi ko pa pong ganun sa mga atit kuya ko. Joining an Interact Club means opening your eyes to the value of community service. You can experience what it's like to serve in those whenever it's in your local area or third world countries. Ayan po, kung nung mga unang org ko po, nakaupo lang ako, nanonood-nood lang po ako, nagkasalita-salita lang. Nung sumali po ako ng Interact, doon ko po natutunan na magwalis, na magbuhat, ng tumulong sa mga tao. Tapos 'di ba sabi ko po nung una, doon ko po unang nasilihan yung tawag po dito, yung medical mission. Ang unang binigay po agad sa akin trabaho, pinatulong po ako dun sa mga postiso. Yun. Yung mga postiso po agad, binabrush ko po yung mga pinanggamitan sa ngipin. Talagang parang namulat po ako agad sa grade 7 pa lang po ako noon. Namulat na agad yung mata ko sa mga community service, sa mga feeding program. Tapos, ang saya lang po kasi andun po yung fulfillment after po ng event. Nakakapagod po siya. Nakakapagod po kasi talaga, syempre kasi patakbo-takbo po ako, nag-a-assist po ako ng mga tao. Pero once na mag-thank you po yung tao sa inyo, na parang, thank you Toya, thank you na. Parang, andun yung fulfillment, parang ikaw yung doktor. Ganun po yung naranasan ko. So, yung pangalawang natutunan ko po, next po. Ayan. Ayan, ano po, it lets me meet other people around the world and make new friends and see places. Kung dati po yung mga kaibigan ko po mga taga-Imus lang po. Ngayon may kaibigan na po ako sa India, may kaibigan na po ako sa Singapore, may mga international friend ako from US, from Russia. Dahil nakaraan po, sumama po ako ng Rotary Model United Nations. Sabi ko, hala, ang bigatin naman pala nito. Kasi syempre, ibang mga tao na po yung nandun. Hindi lang ang interact lang naman po ay hindi lang naman po sa Pilipinas. Buong mundo po may interact labs, meron po sa buong mundo po, lahat po ng bansa, name it, meron pong interact lab. Nagugulat na lang po ako, may nag-chat sa akin sa Instagram. Noong nakaraan po, may nag-chat sa akin from District Interact. Representative din po siya from District 38. Ano po ba ito? Basta sa India po siya, and kinamusta niya po ako, and marami na po akong District Interact friends sa ibang bansa po. And malaking achievement po yun para sa akin bilang isang simpleng mamayan lang naman po, simpleng kabataan ng Imus, magkakaroon po ng mga international friends. Other people and make new friends at this stage. You're already growing your connection and widening your circle, which can be beneficial to the future. Tama po. Naging beneficial po siya sa akin kasi natutulungan po ako ng mga international friends ko when it comes po sa pag-decide ng mga projects, nagbibigay po sila ng idea sa akin. Hindi ko rin po in-expect na magkakaroon ako ng kaibigan sa ibang bansa, and hindi lang po sa ibang bansa, nagkaroon din po ako ng ibang kaibigan from other district dito sa Pilipinas. May kaibigan na po ako sa District 3820, District 381, 3000, tapos nagka-friend na rin po ako sa District 3830. Tapos dito po sa District 3810, marami po akong naging kaibigan. Hindi lang po interactors, mga Rotaractors din po. Naging friends ko po sila, and until now, may mga connections pa po kami. Nagka-fellowship po kami, nagpupintuhan po kami, sinasama po nila ako sa mga projects nila. Sobrang saya po kasi hindi lang po yung nasa home club ko yung mga nagiging kaibigan ko. Mas marami na po yung mga nagiging kaibigan ko around the world. Hindi lang siya around the Philippines. And yun po yung pinakamasaya. Yung pangatlong natutunan ko po ay next po. Ayan. It makes me realize how meaningful at early age. Sabi ko nga po kanina, dun ko po na-realize na hindi lang ako simpleng bata. Hindi lang simpleng bata si Paul din. At hindi lang simpleng bata yung mga naging officer ko. Hindi lang po kami simpleng mga estudyante na nag-aaral lang po. Kapag nag-aaral po kami, nakakatulong po kami sa school namin at nakakatulong po kami sa community service. Doon po ako natutong magpintura, doon ako natutong magkaroon ng pake sa mga nagiging nasa paligid ko po. Doon po ako nagkaroon ng initiative na tumulong po sa mga nangangailangan. When start to commit yourself to mission like this at young age, you realize there's so much more than dates from social media. Tama po. Tama po yung sinabi ko dyan na hindi lang social media ang buhay naming mga kabataan. Once na pumasok ka sa Interact, nagiging meaningful yung buhay mo at nagiging masaya yung buhay mo. Kasi at early age po, marami ka ng achievement. Like me po, marami na po akong na-achieve sa 4 na taon ko sa Interact. Ang dami ko na pong nasalihan, ang dami ko na pong natulungan tao. Yun po yung mga awards po na nakuha ko. Bonus na lang po yun. Pero yung yung mga yung mga awards, bonus na lang po yun. Pero yung tulong po, yun po talaga yung ginigain namin. Yun po talaga yung pinaka-mission namin. So yung huli ko pong natutunan, next po. Ang huli ko pong natutunan, learn to value what you have. Doon ko po na-realize kung gaano po kaswerte ang buhay ko at gaano meron akong privilege na tinatawag po na swerte ako sa lahat ng batang natulungan ko po. Kasi joining Interact Club is community service will let you learn the valued things you might take for granted. You see the firsthand how other people live in poverty po. Doon ko po nakita sa mga feeding program kung gaano kahirap yung mga nasasakupan po namin, kung gaano kahirap yung dinadanas nila, yung mga batang hindi nakakapag-aral, wala silang damit na maayos, wala silang bahay na maayos, wala rin po silang chance na maka-proper education. And yung iba po, victims ng war. Kung nasabi ko nga po kanina, may mga kaibigan po ako around the world. And yung mga kaibigan ko na po yun, nakwento nila na sobrang hirap ng buhay sa ibang bansa. Yung mga bansang tulad po ng Iraq, ng Pakistan, yung mga batang hindi nila alam kung ano po yung nangyayari sa bansa nila. Doon ko po na-realize sa sobrang swerte ko po. At doon ako nagpursige na mas tumulong pa po sa mga tao. Tulad po nung pumunta po kami ng bahay ampunan, doon ko po nakita yung swerte ko na may pamilya po ako. Nabuo po yung pamilya ko at nasa maayos po kaming tirahan. Di tulad po nung mga nasa bahay ampunan na walang mga magulang, naghahanap sila ng kalika. Tapos nung yung taon-taon po yung aming project po, isa po to sa mga project ko, project po na nagbibigay po kami ng school supplies every end po ng term namin. Then binibigay po namin yung mga school supplies sa mga bata. Yun po yung pinakahuling event ko po. And sa 4 na taon ko po sa Interact, sobrang dami ko pong nakilala at ang dami ko pong na-realize. Pero isa lang po ang na-realize ko talaga kung gaano po ako kaswerte at gaano ako kasi na sumali sa Interact Club na nagkaroon po yung meaning yung buhay ko at early age po. So, next slide po. Nandito po yung mga club advisors. Mga club advisors po. Andito po kayo. Nakalagay po dyan, why we need to invest in Interact. Hindi po pera ang ini-invest nyo. Hindi po to social networking or ano pa man po. Hindi po to front row or wala po kayong babayaran. Talagang commitment and service lang po ang sinasabi ko dito. Kasi kayo mga advisors po, isa po kayo sa sobrang laking role. Isang naging malaking impact po yung advisor ko. I-share ko lang po, kasi yung advisor ko, si Sir Dindo, siya po talaga yung nagpo-push sa akin na magpatuloy sa Interact Club. Siya yung nagpo-push sa akin na, sige Polding, kaya mo yan. Yung event na yan, kaya mo yan. Siya yung nagpo-push sa akin na mag-go ako na i-push ko lang ng i-push kahit na parang doon yung sinasabi na, Polding, ba't ka ba andito? Ano ba yung motto natin? Service above self. Huwag kang mapapagod at alam mo namang marami kang natutulungan. Kung napapagod ka man, pwede tayong magpahinga. Kinabukasan, pwede tayong lumaban ulit. Talagang sobrang laking impact po ng mga advisors sa akin. Hindi lang po yung mga advisors. Ayan pa, next po. Ayan. Invest time. Yung po yung sinasabi ko. Mag-invest po ang mga Rotarians, Rotaractors, mga club advisors at mga part pa po ng Rotary. Mag-invest po kayo ng time sa Interact. Like this po, masayang-masaya po yung puso ko na may ganitong event po para sa amin. So maraming salamat po kay DICSES at sa home club po na nag-organize nito. Masaya po yung puso ko kasi nabibigyan po kami ng importansya. Nabibigyan po ng meron po palang nag-care sa Interact. Alam ko naman pong may nag-care sa Interact. sobra-sobra na po. Pero ito po, sobrang-sobra pa po nito na mag-create po kayo ng event para sa Interact at bibigyan niyo po kami ng importansya. Mag-invest po tayo ng time sa Interact. Kasi malalaman niyo po bakit kailangan natin mag-invest, di ba? Para social network. Next po. Ayan, invest effort po. Yung simpleng effort niyo po, sobrang laking impact po sa amin. Kasi ako po, saksing buhay po ako na yung effort po ng mga Rotarians at ng mga Rotaractors na mga ate ko po para lang pumunta sa event namin, magbigay ng time sa amin, pag may mga event po kami sa school, sila po yung mga nauunang sumusuporta po sa amin. Kasi dun pa lang po, magpupush na kaming mga interactors na mag-go lang kami ng go kasi may nasa-porta po sa amin. May mga Rotaractors, mga Rotarians na nakikita namin nagbibigay ng effort sa mga tulad naming interactors. Mag-invest po kayo ng effort sa amin kasi hindi po masasayang yung effort na ibibigay. Next po, yung last po. Ayan. Yung last na i-invest nyo po sa amin. Ayan. Pa-next na po. Ayan. Invest full support. Kasi sabi ko nga po kanina, hindi po masasayang yung full support na ibibigay niyo sa amin. Bakit po? I-next natin, Lord. Ayan. Kasi because Interact is the future of Rotary. Paano ko po nasabing kami ang future ng Rotary? Si Engineer Patrick Gerald Camilon, siya po ay interactor dati. At ngayon po ay Rotarian na. Isa lang siyang living testimony na siya ang future ng Rotary. Kami po, ako po. Kasi pag ako po, kasi yung mga kasama ko po, kwento ko lang po, yung mga interactors, mga members and officers ko. Nagkakaroon po kami ng fellowship every month. And sasabi nila na, Kuya Polding, paglaki ko, gusto ko maging Rotarian. Gusto ko pag nag-18 na ako, sasali na ako ng Rotary Club Imus. Gusto ko paglaki ko, mag-create din ako ng Rotary. Parang ang saya po sa puso ko na hindi lang ako mag-isa na gusto pang magpatuloy sa Rotary kasi nakikita po nila yung mga efforts na binibigay niya sa amin na nakikita nila, grabe Kuya Polding, full support yung mga Rotary kahit na sobrang dami nilang ginagawa, may mga business sila, may mga trabaho sila, pero nagbibigay sila ng effort sa ating mga interactors. Yun yung nagpupush pa sa amin po na magpatuloy pa po kung ano pa po yung umpisa namin. Meron po akong nasabi na maraming salamat sa Interact kasi meron po akong member na siya po ay sobrang hiyaing bata. Tapos nung patapos na po yung term namin, nagulat kami pupunta yung nanay niya. Kasi kala ko po nagreklamo kasi lagi po siyang excuse kasi may event po sunod-sunod po na sunod-sunod po siya. Sabi ko, kalolo, baka pagalitan ako ng nanay kasi lagi ko pinapa-estudyante. Pero wala naman na pong ginagawa. Nung pumunta po siya doon, nag-thank you siya sa akin. Sabi niya, anak, Polding, maraming salamat po. Bakit po? Wala naman po akong binigay na sa anak niyo. Kasi yung anak ko, mahiyain talaga siya, bata pa lang. And nung sumali siya ng Interact, nagkaroon siya ng confidence, nagkaroon siya ng pake sa paligid niya. Nakwento niya nga sa akin, alam mo ba anak, ngayon nung nagkwento yung anak ko sa akin, na gusto niya daw paglaki niya, maging Rotarian siya. Gusto niya maging katulad niya yung mga Rotarian na nakikita niya. Gusto niya na paglaki niya, tutulong din siya. Tapos yun po, yun po yung pumuntang nanay po sa amin. Nagulat din po kami ni Sir Dindo na effective po pala yung ginagawa namin. Na may mga batang nai-inspire po kami. May mga batang na-transform. At may mga batang na bibigyan namin. Parang life-changing po. Na iiba namin yung buhay nila na from bata na walang pake sa paligid niya, yung batang nag-aaral lang, nagkaroon na ng pake sa paligid niya at naging meaningful na yung buhay niya. So maraming salamat po sa Interact. Ayan, pa-next na po yung slide kasi last slide na po ito. Maraming salamat po sa opportunity binibigay niyo po sa akin. Huwag po kayo mag-alala. Hindi kayo bubiguin ng mga interactors. Magbigay lang po kayo ng effort, time, at ng full support po sa amin. Hindi po namin kayo bibiguin. Kasi paglaki din po namin, kami na po ang papalit sa inyo at forever po kami magiging grateful sa inyong lahat. Maraming salamat po. Mabuhay ang mga interactors at mabuhay ang District 1. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you, Paul Deng. Maraming salamat sa iyo. Sabi mo kanina, naging masaya ang puso mo, and listening to you as a former interactor myself, shout out to the Interact Club of Jose Santos High School. Okay. Masaya din ang puso ko bilang District Rotaract Chair ngayon. And sana, oo nga po, Ma'am LCP Ameline, maraming salamat. So, ayan, as I've mentioned, no, masaya din ang puso ko, Paul Deng, listening to you. Kasi parang kami siguro ni AG Patrick nakaka-relate sa iyo kasi yung mga experiences mo, yung mga natutunan mo, yung mga binigay sa yung pagkakataon ng organisasyon na to na mamulat sa kung anong nangyayari sa mundo, hindi lang sa komunidad mo, ay nakapagbibigay sa atin ng fulfillment. Isang patunay yan na may tamang ginagawa ang District 3810, ang mga Rotarians in really building the future of our youth. Katulad mo, when I was an interactor, tinitignan ko din si DG Robert Coa when I was a young student, no, joining yung mga District Rotaract Solo Singing Contest. I believe nung time niya, nung presidency Gov, I was the champion of the Dos Droscon. Pero going back nung Interact days, ang laking impluensya ng mga examples na nakikita natin sa mga Rotarians. So, yung binabanggit mo na natutunan mo talaga is a testament that we are making a difference in the community. And on that note, Paul Deng, let me award to you, of course, the Certificate of Appreciation. No, this is given to you, DIR John Paul Cabrera, for being our guest speaker during the All for the Youth Seminar for Interact Advisors and Rotary Youth Program Directors, given this 10th day of July 2021 via Zoom, signed by our District Interact Chairperson, Princess Encabo, our District Coordinating Chair, DCC Juanito Boycao, and of course, our District Governor for 3810, District Governor Robert Coa. Maraming salamat, Paul Deng, for spending your time and for investing also and showing your effort and full support to our program. And makakasigurado ka, hindi lang sa Mercury, no, na maayos ang mga gamot at laging bago, but dito rin sa Interact 3810, makasigurado ka ang suporta namin ay all the way. And on that note, let me first acknowledge once again the schools who are joining us in this call. Maraming salamat to Tondo High School, Ma'am Lovell, to the Assumption College of Davao, Sir Carlo, thank you for joining us all the way from Davao. Sir Erwin from the St. Mary's Educational Institute from Lemery, Batangas, representing 3820, of course. Ma'am Marilyn, Sir Dale, Ma'am Cheat, Ma'am Alice, from Canosa School, Santa Rosa City. Maraming salamat. I heard that your my good friend invited you to join us in this conference. Ma'am Josephine from Paco Catholic School, Sir Loy of Occidental Mindoro State College. Maraming salamat. He is a Rotaractor from San Jose, Mindoro. Mary Grace, maraming salamat, from Philippine Chunghwa School. Ma'am Maria Emmy Fernandez, teacher from Nabuslot National School, Mindoro, and from the E. Rodriguez Vocational High School faculty members, Sir Jeffrey, Ma'am Margarita, Sir Raven, Ma'am Marian, Ma'am and Ma'am Rosemary. Maraming salamat po for joining us. And of course, Teatro de Salinas, maraming salamat for joining us as well. Gusto ko rin syempre mag-shout out kay DRRE Tane, who's here, DRR Leia, thank you for joining us, SDG Sunny Mercado, and our Chief of Staff, Doc V. Vinluan, thank you for joining us in today's or this afternoon's event. Once again, just to remind everyone to always mute your microphone so as not to disrupt the duration of our webinar. So, i-encourage ko lang po na mag-mute po tayo ng ating mga microphone. Kanina, Paul Deng was giving us so many things, no, about his experience, no. Lahat nagko-congratulate sa iyo. Sabi nga kanina, babasahin ko lang, si CP Mon ng 3820, sabi niya dito, I admire your genuine service and commitment to our community as interactor. You are indeed a good investment. Di ba worth investing, CP Mon? And you are the future of Rotary. Totoo yan. Inspire more interactors. And para magawa natin to, sabi nga ni Paul Deng, we need to invest to our Interact clubs, okay? To our young people. Our impact is very important, no? Because you have to remember, teachers, Rotarians, and Rotaractors who are here, we can make or break the future of our youth. Sabi ni Paul, ding hindi masasayang kung mag-i-invest tayo sa kanila. Dahil natiniwala ako na if you want to have Rotarians like A.G. Patrick here, or yung mga dating Rotaractors who are now LCPs like Vanessa, no? Mga district officers na dating mga Rotaractors din, we are really investing not only for Interact, for Rotaract, but also for the future of Rotary. This is our future. We need more young people. Okay, and speaking of young people, our next speaker will be introduced to us by a young Rotarian who just joined our club. No, let me call on Rotarian Donna Fuente from Metro Escolta, our Interact Vice Chair for Manila and Pasay, to introduce our next speaker. Donna? Rotarian Donna.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. Let me introduce to you our next guest speaker. Let's start with her profession. She is currently the regional coordinator or project development officer of Council for the Welfare of the Children. In Rotary, she used to be the District Interact School Advisor Council for the District 3810 in the Rotary year 2015 to 2017. After that, she became the District Interact Committee, or Vice Chair in the District Interact Committee in the Rotary year 2016-2017. In Rotary year 2017-2018, she was elected as the District Secretary in the District Rotary Committee. On the following year, which is 2018-2019, she became the District Director for Community Service. In 2019-2020, she is the District Rotary Representative for District 3810. After her term as the District Rotary Representative, she became the Youth Service Chair for the Rotary Club of Raha Sulaiman, Manila, on the in Rotary year 2017-2020 up until 2021. Right now, she is the chairperson for the District Interact School Advisor Council in our district. So, let me introduce to you our next guest speaker, Ms. Erica Paiwan Florento.
PDRR, nandito ka na ba?
Hi, PDRR.
Okay, nakat lang po siya. Habang hinihintay natin si Erica, our next speaker who will be talking about the roles and responsibilities of the Interact advisors, gusto ko lang ibigyan ng shout out si immediate past DRR Ryan, who's also in the call. Nakita ko nasa story niya tayo ngayon. So if you are going to upload pictures of our event, kindly tag Rotary Club of Metro Escolta, syempre, para pumakita namin ang inyong mga post. And gusto ko lang mag-shout out din from Rax CS CVSU Rosario. Maraming salamat for joining us. Inter Club of Cavinti, Upland 3820. Maraming salamat for joining us. Interact Club Advisor of FG Calderon Integrated School High School. Yan. From Cavinti Integrated National High School, Youth Advisor ng Rotary Club of Cavinti. Thank you for joining us po. Ayan. Teatro de Salinas, nabati ko na po yan. So sino pa po ba? Meron pa ba akong hindi nababati na mga kasamahan natin dito? Sandali lamang po. Okay, here we go. Ulitin ko lamang po para masabi ko lahat ng mga Interact clubs natin na nandito from 3810, Interact Club of Atimonon, CSTC, Interact Club of Gregorio Perfecto High School, Interact Club of Elpidio Quirino High School, Interact Club of Paco Catholic High School, Tondo High School, Assumption College Davao again, Occidental Mindoro State College, Rotary San Jose, Philippine Chungwa School, E. Rodriguez Vocational High School, Look Lubang, RAC RCDM Scholars, 3820. Maraming salamat again for sending your participants here. Interact Club of Atimonan, Interact Club of St. Mary's Educational Institute in Lemery, Interact Club of Canosa School or Santa Rosa, Interact of Pinamalayan Central in Oriental Mindoro and RAC San Jose. Maraming salamat po for joining us in our event. Thank you po sa inyong lahat. Okay. Ngayon po, I would like to ask if our, of course, syempre, no, sabi nga, salamat din sa ating mga transformational presidents. Tapos na yung term ninyo, but you are here supporting your classmate, TP Sen. Sabi niya rito, salamat po sa inyong lahat, the United Transformational Presidents of 3810. And of course, our LCPs, our life-changing presidents. Thank you po for your full support, not to our Interact program and to our youth service program. At this point, let me call on once again our speaker, PDRR Erica Florendo, for her talk. Wala pa din si Erica. Okay. Sige nga po, subukan lamang po natin in the chat box. Pagbilang kong 3, nakatago na kayo, hindi. Pagbilang kong 3, can you please type your a word that will best describe the youth of today? Sige nga po, subukan natin yan. Type in your chat box po. Describe the youth of today. I like that. Empowered, hopeful. Go ahead. Let's see. Vibrant. Yan, gusto ko yan. Walang naglalagay ng pabebe. Poldeng, pabebe ba ang youth of today? Okay, empowered, vibrant, and great. Impactful. Yeah, exactly. Phenomenal. I love the words. Power, gusto ko yan. Gifted and inspiring. Remarkable. Okay. Promising. Yeah. Lahat ng mga binabanggit natin, keep it coming, no, tech savvy. Ayan, supporters of advocacies. I believe that as well. I am a teacher, by the way, for those who don't know. So ako po ay exposed sa mga kabataan. They are innovative. I like that, LCP Karen. Kasi talagang maraming kayang gawin ng mga kabataan ngayon. Do not underestimate the talent, no, and the potentials of our youth. We need to unleash this potential so that we can really empower them. To the teachers who are here also joining us, alam ko we are all encountering, difficulties in motivating our students, but we have to maximize, no, technology, kung ano yung meron tayo ngayon to empower and encourage our young people to continuously be hopeful, sabi ni DRR Itene, and very supportive daw ang mga kabataan ngayon, lalo na kung meron tayong gustong ipaglaban katulad ng environment, equal opportunity for education. Very supportive talaga ang ating mga kabataan. Okay, maraming salamat po. Yan. There are still a lot of Rotarians and friends who are coming in the call. As of today, palakpakan po natin ang 159 participants of the first ever All for the Youth Conference. And siguro, let me take this opportunity as well na lang to inform everyone that if you are a new club and you're thinking of starting your Interact Club, and if you're a Rotary Club who also consider putting up your own Interact Club, you coordinate, of course, with our District Interact Chair na mamaya babanggitin niya din yung ilang mga detalye patungkol dyan. Okay? I'm not sure if our speaker is already in the call or if we can proceed to the next talk. Siguro. Okay, siguro. Is our next speaker ready? Sige po. So ang gawin natin ay ganito. I will be calling one of our young members, no? Yan. Thank you, IPP Mary, for being here. RC Manila Supreme 198. I would like to call on our Interact District Secretary, Lori Lee Albaran, to introduce our next speaker. Lori Lee is from the Interact Club of Imus National High School. Hello, Lori Lee. Lori Lee, are you already in the call? You can unmute yourself so that you can introduce our next speaker. Ganyan po talaga pag live. Lori Lee, are you here? Okay. Sige, dahil wala pa si Lori Lee, let me introduce to you our next speaker. Okay, our next speaker graduated with a degree of Bachelor of Arts in Linguistics cum laude from the University of the Philippines, Diliman in 2006 and pursued his passion of teaching for almost 9 years in 4 different universities before serving the Philippine government in 2015. It is also in 2015 when he, our speaker, along with 6 other young professionals, I guess, founded and chartered the Rotary Club of Quiapo, Plaza Miranda. Okay, this is our speaker is a former Rotaractor as well. He graduated the following year from the Rotary Club and joined Rotary Club of Quiapo, Plaza Miranda, where he held position as a youth service director up to today. He also became the concurrent club secretary, executive secretary, and club administrator during the term of champion president Lisa Hizon, my classmate. He currently is on leave from study of law to focus on work, his new family, since he recently married Mrs. Mary Grace Cortez, yan, of Carmona. However, his passion for the law, education, and youth lives on as he accepted the role as the chairperson for the Youth Protection Program of our District 3810. Let us all welcome our guest speaker to talk about Youth Protection Program policy of our district. Let's all welcome Rotarian Alden Jerome Mamaril. Alden, magandang hapon sa iyo.
Hello, good afternoon, good day. Teka, nawawala yung video ko. Ayan, ayan. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
All right, thank you so much for coming, everyone. I'm really glad to see every Rotarian again, every Rotaractor again. And, this is one of the fewest times when I get to meet everyone. Ever since the pandemic began, nakakamiss din pala yung mga biglang pupunta ka na lang doon sa mga kainan sa gilid ng Sofitel. So this is the only opportunity that I would get to meet all of you guys. So yeah, I would
Teka
like
lang,
to...
gusto ko mag-comment doon sa kainan sa tabi ng Sofitel. So hindi tayo nung Rotaractor tayo makapag-Sofitel, no? Doon tayo sa gilid, alam mo yun, sa may parking.
Anyway, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank DCC Boy for giving me this opportunity, and so I would also like to thank DIC Ses and Cabo and Sir Chok and Cabo for letting me in as in this capacity. In fact, madami ako natutunan tungkol sa sarili ko dito as I prepare for this, and I am very sure na marami pa akong kailangang i-work on as I go on with this. Pero my job today, for one, I won't go for any further tawag dito, pleasantries if you may, kasi ang aking talk ay medyo matagal at dragging. Because this is about the youth protection policy of the Rotary International. For those who have not yet known the youth protection program or the youth protection policy of the Rotary International is available on the Rotary on rotary.org. You may download the same. And also may included na training ito na intensive din sa learning and sa learning section also of the Rotary website. So kung medyo may mga bagay kayong hindi mailinaw sa talk na ito, you can either go to the Rotary website and have it learned there, and or at the same time you can also ask me for some other tips. One other disclaimer is that I'm not a lawyer yet. No, I'm on leave from the study of law. but I can do my very best to help you understand some of the laws that I'll be discussing later on, so that on a different on a different setting, kasi mahirap i-discuss lahat ng mga batas na yan later on. So pagpasensyahan niyo na po, medyo hindi ko itatouch lahat 'yon. If you have any further questions, you can ask me as well. Now, I'd like to start nasaan na ba yung presentation ko? Teka lang Just go share my presentation one moment. Where is it? Share screen. Sorry about that. Sorry, medyo
Alden, I can share your screen if you want, kung gusto mo. Okay na, we can see it now.
Oh, please, if you may, please. Thank you.
Sige.
Okay,
Ako,
okay.
Ako na lang?
I'll leave for the moment.
Sige, ako na lang. Para...
yes, please. Thank you.
Sure.
Para mas maganda.
For a while.
Okay. So yeah. I'd also like to apologize kung medyo humahangos pa ako. I just came from the clinic. Alright. So while we're waiting for the screen, is stop share ko na ba? Sorry. Ayan. There you go. So yeah, while we're waiting for the rest of the slideshow na ipapipindot ko na lang later, I'd like to get you into one particular situation first, no? Now, for instance, a certain Miss A, a minor and a member of Interact Club of X. In one of the district Interact events, you notice that Mr. B, a Rotarian, came near her in a really close pace and spoke to Miss A. Now, Miss A, after that talk, was so embarrassed and flustered and decided to reach for the exit. The question in this discussion is, what will we do? Anong gagawin natin if in case this thing happens? Now, hindi tayo immune sa situation na ito as an organization. This is an organization where we involve young people to support the young people. And as we all know, pag mayroong mga ganong situations, there would always be tendencies of abuse. And so that's the reason why a partner of the youth and an organization that puts its full thrust on helping the youth become great leaders someday, kailangan ng isang matinong youth protection policy. And that is what we're going to discuss today. Now, let's discuss what our objectives are later on. So first off, gusto kong hopefully at the end of this talk that you can go back to your clubs and determine the proper measures that will be input to the youth protection program and policy ng ating distrito at ng inyong mga sari-sariling mga clubs. So I cannot promise enough time for this right here, pero I hope that this will fuel your want to go back to the drawing board and see what we can do in order to protect our youth. What are our plans? Second, our next is and then commit to the protection of the youth participants in any of the Rotary's youth programs by determining the course of actions in which are in compliance with the RI youth policy and the laws of the Philippines related to youth protection. And ang last natin is mag-aware tayo kung paano ang bawat isang Rotarian and Rotary volunteer should act around our young people. In addition, since meron tayong mga young people dito, I believe there are some Rotaractors and Interactors in here. So at least in this discussion, matututunan nyo na rin na i-assert yung mga bagay na dapat ninyong i-assert as a young person inside this organization. After all, we're supposedly here to help you, not to put you in some sort of situation where you won't be any comfortable. So again, your safety, the safety of our young people for the Rotary International has always been paramount. And this is what we're going to study today. Next, please. Now, this is the statement of conduct for working with the youth. I'd like you to go through this later on. But I would like to note na may highlight akong isang portion dyan which says that to the best of their abilities, Rotarian spouses and partners, and other volunteers must safeguard the children and young people with whom they come into contact and protect them from physical, sexual, and psychological abuse. Note, ang involvement ay para sa lahat and it is to the best of our abilities. Our due diligence is needed para maprotektahan ang ating interactors at yung iba pang mga bahagi ng ating youth programs. Next, please. Next slide, please. Now, how do we help the development? How does the development of a youth protection program help Rotary? First, it demonstrates Rotary's commitment to youth. So essentially, even if we're helping them with leadership, if they're not providing them with safety that they need during the time of their training, it wouldn't help them if they're not comfortable coming into the program, if they don't feel safe coming into the program. So para iparamdam ng Rotary na, oo, ang commitment namin sa matindi para sa inyo, we need to put a holistic approach into taking care of our young people, and that includes their safety from all sides. Next, it prevents incidents of abuse or mitigate their effects. I will discuss that later on. And then it protects the long-term viability of youth programs. The more that we keep our young people safe, the more our young people would want to join. And it strengthens the trust of participants and their families. Of course, these young people are part of the community which they belong. And so, dahil po partners natin ang mga communities na yon, kung halimbawang hindi safe ang ating mga programs, hindi sila papayagan ng mga magulang nila to join these programs. And so, gusto natin maganda at masaya at may tiwala ang ating mga communities, ang mga parents ng ating mga youth sa ating mga Rotarians. Next, please. Now, I'll just go through these definition of terms. The definition of terms is also included in the Youth Protection Policy PDF file available in the Rotary International. But note that these definitions are very, very important as well. Kasi kung wala dyan sa definitions na yan, as part of the due process and how we need to how do you call this? Interpret laws and issuances that have penal provisions. Kailangan straight sa kung ano yung nakikita natin ang mga nangyayari. So kapag halimbawang may isang part dyan na hindi siya pasok, hindi siya offender. So kung halimbawa, bumulong lang siya dun sa bata and sinabi sa kanya na anak, bagsak ka nga yung term na ito, it doesn't necessarily mean that this person is abusive. It just states a fact. Pero, syempre, kung halimbawang he hits all the targets, he hits all parts of the definition or the elements of the crime, then we will prosecute it to the fullest of the law and the youth protection policy. Next slides further, please. Ayan, yung mga differentiation ng abuse. Later on, I'll discuss that as well. Next, please. and sexual harassment. I'll have I will be discussing grooming later on. Now, later na po siguro si grooming. Magandang i-discuss si grooming mamaya-maya. Now, sino po ang responsible para sa pag-ensure natin na ang mga kabataan natin ay protektado? So makikita natin diyan inisa-isa ko pa, pero essentially it's everyone. So ito sagot na lang po sa chat. Tanong ko lang po ulit. Sino po ang responsible for ensuring youth protections? Pakisagot po sa chat. Naghihintay ako. Everyone. Very good po mga presidents and past presidents. Maraming salamat po sa pagsagot. Lahat tayo ay responsible for ensuring youth protection in whatever levels we may be. Ano man ang ating function sa ating Rotary Club, whatever our position is, we have a responsibility to protect our young people. Next, please. Thank you, everyone. Now, dito na tayo sa medyo dragging kasi we'll be discussing what our youth protection procedures are. So kindly bear with me. I'll make sure na mabibilisan ko to in as much as I could. So let's go with the first one. Now, an effective youth protection policy should cover critical youth protection procedures. This is kind of self-explanatory kasi kailangan cover niya lahat ng bases from enforcement, from policy making to enforcement to ensuring na mapapanagot natin hindi lang sa loob ng Rotary kundi maging in the full force of the law ang sino mang offenders within our end. Zero tolerance po ang sinabi ng Rotary for this matter and it even comes with a higher price. Second, it provides a more general program operation guidelines and it should address foreseeable risks, particularly those associated with the program's environment, along with plans for mitigating them. Now, the reason why we are supposed to we don't have a youth protection policy for Rotary International as a whole is because it's considering yung iba't ibang mga batas na pumapalibot sa atin. So, for instance, one particular policy na maaaring gawin nila may be violative, for instance, of the data protection law. So, kailangan i-consider natin yung iba pang mga batas natin. That's why we are the ones that should make it. And in addition, iba-iba tayo ng kultura. Iba-iba tayo ng pagtanaw sa kung paano humawak or kung saan hahawak, which is acceptable, which is not. And what feels abusive and what feels not. So that also needs to be considered on the creation of a youth protection policy. Next, please. Now, our youth protection policy should include a statement of conduct for working with the youth, rather a policy statement that includes the Rotary's statement of conduct for working with the youth. So, kailangan nating balikan yung statement of conduct kanina and we need to base our policy statements from there. Second, procedures for ensuring that clubs and members comply with district and Rotary International requirements. Next, criteria and procedures for screening and selecting volunteers. Yes, if we are going to include people outside of Rotary to help in our youth programs, we need to select them properly so to ensure that we could prevent offenders from coming in. Later on, I'll discuss that. And then procedures for training volunteers who work with our clubs and our programs. Next, please. Now, very important note. I'd like to very much emphasize this. Kasi nangyari na yata to. Tama ba ako, Sir Chok, may mga nangyari ng ganito na mayroong mga na-terminate na because of this situation. Na
for our district, yeah, Alden, for our district, wala pa naman so far. But in my experience with my first year as part of the Interact and Rotaract committee in RI, we have studied some cases of clubs from other countries na nasuspend because of the violation of this policy. So we have to be very, very careful. And medyo nakakatakot for a Rotarian to hear the cases, no, in other countries. Kaya sana wala namang mangyaring ganyan sa atin.
Yes. So I'd like to very much emphasize this na ang responsibility for us to comply with the youth protection policies and the local laws is for every Rotarian, every club, every district. And the non-compliance can have serious consequences, including one, at the termination of an individual's membership, ang sakit, or termination ng charter ng mismong club, or the suspension of an entire district's program activities. I can't emphasize this enough kasi sobrang steep ng penalties para sa non-compliance natin sa ganitong bagay. And so I would like to uh, make this plea to everyone na as your youth program officer, as your youth uh, protection program officer, please help me in fulfilling this role. Pag-uusapan natin mamaya kung paano kayo makakatulong and paano natin mako-comply ang mga bagay na ito. Let's have the next slide, please. Okay, so these are laws and international treaties to consider in crafting your club's own youth protection program. I forgot to include RA number 7610, which is the law in relation to the protection of the youth from certain abuses. And also, it's not RA 7677, it's RA 7877 po, yung Anti-Sexual Harassment Act of 1995. However, per my discussion with some other lawyers, including PDRR Clang San Jose, these Republic Acts are rather limiting. So since limiting po itong mga, and when I say limiting, ibig sabihin meron lang certain situations in which these laws will hold people liable. So for instance, sa RA 7677, one of the few things na pwede lang na tawag dito, having an elderly guy having a relationship with a 17-year-old girl, for instance, is not necessarily criminal. But what's criminal is when this man coerces or entices that 17-year-old woman to come into a sexual relationship with him in exchange for favors na may kinalaman sa academics, kung teacher yung male, or dun sa training, kung may other favors na maibibigay dun sa babae. That's what's criminal. Ngayon, syempre tayo, ayaw naman natin ng mas uncomfortable na mga situations surrounding our young people. So, we will study this further. One other law that I just listed there is the Data Privacy Act of 2020. Later on, i-discuss ko bakit. And please. Sir Chuck, next slide, please. Okay, ayan. Let's go with volunteer selection and screening. Teka lang. I'll go back na wala ako. Now, the appropriate screening level shall depend on youth or volunteer position and whether it has direct authority over the youth program, say for instance, advisor, and the well-being of the participants. Second, the amount or frequency of contact with participants and the type of contact which they have. So, this means na if we're going to screen our volunteers who will be coming to our youth programs such as RILA, such as Rotary Youth Exchange, if we're going to host one, kailangan malaman muna natin kung ano dapat yung klase ng trabaho na gagawin nila and gaano kadalas yung contact nila with the kids, so sure that we would be to hold the highest moral turpitude. Next, please. Now, the screening and selection process will include or shall include, number one, written application coming from the volunteer. Volunteer nga, so dapat siya yung nag-a-apply sa atin. It's not something that should be forced, or at least kung may yayayain man tayo, there must be a process of application coming from the club or from the district. Number two, there should be interviews. Number three, reference and background checks. Yes, we'll be asking them for clearances. Baka mamaya kasi we have people who have been already prosecuted or have been on a hearing for cases that would involve sexual harassment and all, or mayroon ng mga past cases, administrative cases na may kinalaman sa sexual abuse or physical abuse ng mga bata. We'll take it out. Next, home visits. We need to also consider that, and some other considerations which you think might be a good replacement kung halimbawa hindi natin kayang gawin yung ibang mga portions na itong selection process. Next po. Now, one note, volunteering in youth programs of the Rotary is a privilege and it is not a right. District and club officers have a responsibility to select only volunteers who meet established criteria. Let me just quickly discuss the difference between right and the privilege. Ang right, kapag halimbawang ginawa mo yung act na yon, ibig sabihin nagagawa din dapat siya ng lahat, and there should be no punishment or there should be no special person that should enjoy that particular right. So halimbawa, you have the right to speak, you have the right to express yourself. Everyone has this right to express oneself, albeit some exceptions perhaps. Pero hindi necessary na it's something that should be enjoyed by all or a clustered group. Pero privileges are only accorded by an organization or, for matters of the law, the Philippine government, such as driving. Driving, ladies and gentlemen, is not a right, it is a privilege. And the government can take away your driver's license if he finds you noxious or a noxious part of the road. So, halimbawa, ilang beses ka na nakabangga, they can take it out of you. Madalas kang palaaway, they can take the license out of you. And so is volunteering in Rotary Youth programs. So, since this is volunteering and this is a privilege, we can take it away from any of our volunteers should we feel that this volunteer does not make our young people safe or comfortable. So we need to establish first a criteria with which our volunteers must fit into in order for them to join our programs. Next po. Next, volunteer training. Papasadahan ko lang yan. Let's note lang na ito yung mga dapat nating pag-aralan, itong mga nasa ilalim. Later on, I'll discuss some of it. And it is one important thing that we have to understand here is that volunteers should have continuous training on the youth protection policies of the club, of the district, and of the Rotary International to ensure na nakadikdik sa ating mga utak kung ano ang ating responsibilidad at ano yung mga hindi natin dapat gawin. Next po. Next is monitoring and supervision. Now, some considerations whenever monitoring is, of course, documentation. We need to have certain standards as to how to document issues that have something to do with abuse or harassment from among our youths. So, for instance, kailangan natin ng mga, kung halimbawa magkakaroon tayo ng mga projects in which young people must go elsewhere sa labas na kailangan, tapos mga minors ito, kailangan ng permission ng magulang. There should be forms in which they should fill out, affidavits that should be filled out, not waivers, affidavits. And more importantly, application forms ng volunteers, pwede siguro memorandum of agreement with the volunteers na hindi nila pwedeng gawin to, hindi nila pwedeng gawin yan, that they understand that if they do a certain act, they might get out of the program, mga ganong bagay. Next, varying of observation or visiting schedule and all. Considering yung environment natin, paying attention to sensitive activities, checking for adequate adult supervision, observing interactions, and asking for and giving feedback. Mamaya, pag-usapan natin kung paano magbibigay ng feedback or humingi ng feedback sakaling mayroong mga ganyang concerns. Next po. Next, and very important because importante tayong lahat na mag-take ng responsibility natin. Isang bulag na mata sa ating mga young people and one young person will get out of our program feeling harassed. No? So, we need to be proactive para masiguro na ang ating young persons, kahit saan siya magpunta, kahit sinong kasama niya, he or she feels safe. Next po. Next na po. Yan. Now, document retention and privacy laws, document retention and privacy provisions of the Data Privacy Act emphasizes the following. Consent. Kung makikita niyo yung naka-highlight. Next slide, makikita din natin. Next slide po. So, ayan, consent din po ang hinihingi natin. This is simply because the privacy of communication is something that the state holds dear pursuant to Article 3, Section 3 of the 1987 Constitution. And every privileged communication, as which we call it, cannot be used as evidence for any purposes in any courts. And that goes in all courts here in the Philippines. So halimbawa, if this is a Facebook message, a text message, a letter na address lang sa bawat isa, it cannot be used as evidence. It's simply because if there would be an only way in which a private communication, a private data, or a sensitive data can be used as evidence is when a person gives consent. Now, pagdating po sa civil code, the only person who can give consent are people who are 18 years old and above. Now, what does this mean? Minors cannot give consent. And this is, itong konsepto ng consent na to, I'd like to put this forward, na in the next few minutes of our discussion, magiging importanteng sangkap ito ng lahat ng ating mga pag-uusapan. Consent. Now, in terms of recording data, if this is the case, pangalan ng bata, saan nakatira yung bata, ano yung phone number niya, what is his or her sexual orientation, sino-sino kasama niya sa bahay, where does he study, what's his, even yung mga favorite stuff niya. These are data that are quite sensitive for us because these data can be used by offenders para i-entice yung bata into possible abuse. So, if that's the case, next slide po. What's the next? Now, as far as RI is concerned, it is the districts that must determine how to handle and retain important youth program documentation, such as training logs volunteer screening records, and incident reports. And it should be stored at the club or district level. Kung mapapansin po natin sa Rotary International website natin, wala po tayong database or matrix ng mga members ng Interact. Tama po ba, Sir Chok? If I'm not mistaken? Wala tayo. Because as much as possible, RI doesn't want to be the first to enable people to search for names na parang nagsa-search lang ng pangalan sa Facebook coming from the website itself. So dapat meron tayong safekeeping. Lahat ng data na may kinalaman sa ating mga young people should be kept only by competent people from within the club, and sila lang dapat magtago nun. So I believe if we're going to keep interactors data, it should be held confidential. And it's also, each club and district should also consider obtaining written permission from parents and legal guardians to take photographs or videos from participants. Yes. So, bawat picture ng bata, pag na-post yan online, maaaring yan sa abuse. So, mapapansin natin marami sa mga teachers and marami sa mga schools, whenever they take photos of their kids, they have to blur yung mukha ng bata as much as possible. If not, at least don't post it at all. Kasi po, importante na malaman ng mga magulang ng mga bata yung risk kapag sila ay mag-take ng photo or video at ipopost ito online. So, in terms of the social media. Kasi remember, there are 2 cases already lodged with the Supreme Court na pinag-uusapan po yung pagtitake ng photo ng mga bata. There was this one college from Cebu. Nakwento sa akin ito ng isang Rotaractor natin coming from Cebu na nandun sila who took photos of themselves on their lingerie. That was before their graduation from high school. And so, the photo was seen by one of their computer teachers from online and reported it immediately sa kanilang superior. What the school did was to withhold their graduation from high school because they felt na ito ay kabastusan sa image ng school. Now, hindi ko na i-argue dun sa kung nakakabastos ba ito sa image ng school. But what was being argued here is whether or not they can use photos of those children which are posted online even if naka-friends only yung Facebook nila. You know what the Supreme Court decided on? They said, yes, it can be used as evidence. It's considered public. And the reason why it's considered public is this. Halimbawa, you have 50 friends. And your 50 friends have 50 friends each. Then that means that photo or those photos can be seen by more than one. So, in this case, guys, ang posting po sa Facebook ay considered as public information po. Ang pagpo-post, hindi lang sa Facebook pala, sorry. Ang pagpo-post sa social media ng inyong mga pictures puts your pictures as a public, on a public domain, not as a private photo. If you want your photos to remain confidential or within the privilege bounds, mas maganda siguro isend nyo na lang ng through messenger. But necessarily guys, pag pinag-uusapan po natin ng documentation ng mga projects ng mga interactors natin, guys, please, as much as possible, kung hindi po kayo makakahingi ng permission coming from the parents and legal guardians of our kids, wag na lang po sanang i-post, isama na lang natin sa mga reports na written so that it could be safe kept. Okay? So, next po. Kung may clarifications kayo dito, I'll be willing to answer that. Now, incorporation insurance, ang sabi lang kasi sa youth protection program is mas makakatulong daw if we can have a separate entity, a separate legal entity for our young people. So pwede nating lagyan ng separate corporation ng ating Interact clubs, pero I believe dito sa Philippines, like I said sa ating sa view ng ating civil code, these young people cannot give consent as of yet. So forming a corporation na led by young people is going to be hard. Pero if you have older people, why not? Pero I guess this is going to be a lot more tawag dito, complicated. So tsaka na lang natin siguro pag-usapan to. Next po. Now, regarding youth travel, this is the basic onus. Adults should never transport a single participant in a motor vehicle without the prior and express permission of the participant's parent or legal guardian. So from this point forward, guys, whenever we are going to, although alam ko noon pa hinihingi na natin to, no, Sir Chok, na whenever we are going to ask young people to travel along with us, hindi po waiver ang hihingin natin. We have to make our parents understand the risk and still undertake it. Kasi they cannot waive a right that they don't have yet. So they should already have the right in order to waive such right. Ang kailangan nating ipa-fill out sa kanila is an affidavit that makes them understand na mayroong ganitong included risks ang pagta-travel sa labas ng mga bata. More so, mas maganda siguro na maging position natin sa Rotary is not paiwas from the responsibility from the kids, but more of taking responsibility of the kids. Like, if in case that they will go out, we will do all the best to keep your child safe from the best of our abilities. Hindi ba much better yon? It's not just about the reputation of the organization. It's not about the reputation lang ng Rotary, but of course, our true reputation from our community na ipaparamdam natin sa kanila that we care about our young people. So, best thing, inform our legal guardians if these kids should go out. For instance, pumunta sa Tanay, mamundok, whatever things you may have in mind, we should ask for the parents or the legal guardians express permission. So, hihingi tayo ng written permission dyan. That will serve as our evidence. If in case magkaroon ng problema legally, we can say, ma'am, we have already informed you of the risks. We have already done things to the best of our abilities. It just so happens that things happen this way. Pero syempre, as much as possible, mas maganda kung anuhin natin, iparamdam natin sa kanila na gagawin natin lahat. Next po. Now, regarding overnight stays, we must consider the following po. Number one, supervision. There should be, the clubs and the district should allot a very good ratio between adult volunteers vis-a-vis our young people. Kailangan may ratio tayo dyan. The ratio should consider kung ano yung mga gagawin ng mga bata, ano yung kakayahan ng adult para masiguro na mababantayan niya yung mga bata from start to finish of the program. Second, facilities. The arrangement of the facilities is also necessary. Kailangan natin bantayan yung mga high-risk areas. Like what? Comfort rooms, stairways, dark areas. Yung mga ganyang bagay should be considered in order to ensure na alam natin kung ano yung mga babantayan nating mga lugar. And of course, sleeping arrangements. As much as possible, wag nating hahayaan na yung mga bata of different age groups, of different genders, ay magkakatabi matulog. Kailangan hiwalay sila. So, kailangan separate yun, and at the same time, yung ating mga volunteers, dapat hiwalay din sila ng higaan. This was demonstrated nung aming Raila back in 2015. Natatandaan ko yon. This is where I first met Sir Chok, na doon sa Indang, hiwalay kaming mga guys over the girls, pero I guess yung mga mas bata dapat mas nahiwalay pa natin nun para masiguro na talagang there would be no uh, possibilities of abuse. Critical din yung dressing areas nila. Pero on our case kasi, ang sleeping area is also the dressing area. So that's just fine. Walang problema po. Tawag dito, at least ma-separate lang natin yung sleeping areas ng mga young people natin. Depende sa age, depende sa gender and sexual orientation. And of course, ang pinaka dapat hinihiwalay natin would be yung ating mga adult volunteers. Supervision should be limited to doon sa mga private areas na dapat yung mga bata lang po yung nandun. Kasi mas mag-iisip tayo ng mas mahirap mag-isip kapag halimbawa may isang adult na nakakapasok sa loob ng room ng mga bata. On a midnight, for instance. Mahirap po yun. Next po. Now, as far as online safety is concerned, ayan, ito po, pag mag-post naman po tayo ng ating mga things online, and kung halimbawa magme-message po tayo sa ating young people, we should consider their first physical safety. Kung makikita ba yung mga photos ng mga bata na may tawag dito, may makikita ba sa kanilang hindi maganda? Second, psychological safety. When you say this against a child or when you say this to a child, will it affect or will it hurt the child in such a way na maaapektuhan yung kanyang well-being? Makakaramdam ba siya ng matinding sexual insecurity about him or herself? Third, reputational and legal safety. If you post this picture online, mapapahiya ba siya? And kung mapapahiya siya, anong magiging how do you call this repercussion nun? Is it libelous? Please remember that RA 10175 is in effect, and cyber libel is equally as liable as written libelous statements, even online, for as long as there is malice in the statement, whether it be true or not. If it is stated online with the intention of maligning somebody, it is libelous. And next, identity, property, and community safety. One important thing, guys, don't post IDs, especially if the IDs have important information therein. One important thing that we should understand that some information in the IDs of the kids or our own IDs, for instance, can lead to access to other forms of other material, to other access, basta mga accesses sa SS, accesses sa GSIS, accesses sa iba-iba pa mga lugar. Kung halimbawa may binigay kayong bank account sa inyong mga anak and nagkaroon ng access doon, that is so dangerous. Mahirap po yun. Tandaan po, last night lang may nakita po ako na isang babae na nagrereklamo sa police simply because ginagamit po yung kanyang ID, yung kanyang PRC ID as a registered nurse kasi pinost niya online kasi sobrang saya niya na nakapasa siya ng licensure exam for nurses. Hindi niya alam, ginamit yung photo, yung ID niya, ginamit ang photo niya so that she could illegally sell vaccines for COVID-19. So, medyo kailangan po natin kapag halimbawa we're going to post something online, especially, hindi na lang muna sa atin, for the kids. We need to take care of their identity, their access to property, and yung kanilang community if maaapektuhan. Next po. Now, some guidelines to consider on internet. So, photos or personal information about a youth program participant should never be shared without the express permission and knowledge of their parent or legal guardian. Now, hanggat hindi po kumpleto yung activity or hanggat hindi sila legal adults, whichever one goes first, wag po muna tayo mag-post ng photos ng mga youth program participants natin. And more importantly, never tag a minor or share their username or handle online. Lalong-lalo na po yung mga Twitter handle nila kasi yan yung mga kiniklik ng mga offenders online. Next po. Now, there will be times that dadating tayo sa iba pang klase ng safety na maaari makompromiso in one of our activities or in any of our activities. And one of them is yung crisis management. So we need to develop a crisis management plan that protects our youth in times of this crisis. So we need to protect our youth from accidents, or rather, kailangan ng crisis management plan for accidents, for violence, for natural disasters, from political instability and outbreak of illness. Very timely po kasi if we're going to hold youth programs, and sa ngayon po, hindi pa natin ma-achieve ang herd immunity from COVID-19, we need to lay down specific guidelines kung gusto natin silang maka face-to-face interaction. And if that even is doable. So, I guess we'll have that discussed later on. Next po. Now, the crisis management plan, in whatever capacity, should be developed in this way. First, kailangan may crisis management team ang isang club or ang isang district. Number two, there should be proper communication. And yung crisis management team, dapat mayroon silang isang team that should be focused on how they should handle communication to parents, and particularly even kung halimbawa mayroong kinalaman na yung media, there should be one to handle media communication if in case things happen. Remember, bakit po natin pinag-iisapan ng media communication pagdating sa crisis management? Young people are always on the target for the nose for news pagdating sa news writing. Kapag po merong isang issue na nai-involve ang isang bata, journalists come like flies. So kapag ang mahirap po dito is when it blows out of proportion, which we don't want to happen, pero when it happens, there should be someone handling the media. And of course, the expenses na may kinalaman sa pag-handle ng crisis. Pero wag muna nating masyadong i-discuss yan. Tingin ko hindi pa naman tayo aabot dyan. Let's hope so. Next po. Now, ito na tayo sa second phase, awareness and prevention. Ito na po yung action, mga kapatid. Now, first off, kailangan natin mag-create ng clear standards and policies. Kailangan natin mag-create ng culture of safety sa ating organization, sa Rotary International. And in order to do that, there are 6 things that we can do. First, we should set clear standards and policies. Second, we need to enforce those standards and policies. Third, gaya ng sinabi ko kanina, we should hold training about these often. And of course, let's make sure everyone understand their responsibilities. And number 5, pay attention to the warning signs. What should tell that there is abuse or harassment already happening? And 6, take reports of inappropriate behavior and abuse seriously. As in, seriously. Next po. Now, ano ang appropriate boundaries between adults and the youth? First, sa physical interactions, ito po sa kaliwa ang acceptable physical interactions. Pero depende po ito nakalagay po doon is if culturally appropriate and with consent. There would be times that hugging people from the side, kids from the side, may lead to actually the feeling of harassment dahil hindi sila sanay sa ganon. So the first question should be, Nak, pwede ba kitang akbayan ng saglit? I just feel like you're my kid anyway. So ask permission, or patting on the shoulder or back, or shaking of hands. Pero ito mas maganda, total may COVID-19 naman. Small gestures of approval, such as a hand gesture or clapping of hands. So sa ngayon, kahit siguro onting fist bump lang or elbow bump, that's already fine. Pero kung masyadong intrusive na tayo dun sa intimate space ng ating mga bata, please po, medyo ingat-ingat lang tayo. Let's exercise caution and ask for consent. Now, what are the unacceptable physical interactions? Ayan, simple. Bawal po ang lahat ng yan. Carrying someone on your back or shoulders, depende po ito. If you're the actual parent of the kid, why not? Pero syempre, kung may iba na yan, medyo mahirap na po yan. So, yan. Next po. Now, verbal interactions. Guys, pag may bata, green jokes, please. Ano muna natin tayo dyan? Tsaka yung mga dark jokes, iwas po tayo dyan. And name calling is also something that we should avoid. Also, as older people, as much as possible, iwasan natin yung humiliating language. And more importantly, making negative remarks about a participant or their family, culture, religion, gender identity, sexual orientation, or background. So, if it is pejorative against these, please, wag na po tayo mag-remark. Sabi nga, kung wala tayong sasabihin maganda, wag muna po tayong magsalita, pag-isipan po natin mabuti, and then we say things in a better way. It's not about what you say, but it's about how you say it. Next po. One-to-one interaction. Mas maganda po kung nasa public tayo makikipag-meet sa ating mga young people. Iwasan po natin as much as possible yung one-to-one adult-to-child interaction na nasa isang private na lugar. So kung halimbawa may isang older guy na may isasamang isang bata, regardless kung ano yung gender, sa dilim, that's very that's very suspect. So yun po yung ating mga bagay na dapat take into consideration. Next po. Now, in electronic interactions, ayan, dito tayo, ito na yung napag-usapan natin. So, again, consent po. And as much as possible, kung mayroon tayong groups with our interactors or youth exchange, as much as possible, if we're going to discuss with them through groups rather than rather than individually. As much as possible, wag natin silang i-chat one by one. Unless there is express consent from the child or mauna yung child na mag-open up sa inyo personally. Hayaan natin yung bata yung mauna. Now, if you don't feel comfortable with that even, as much as possible, find another way to discuss it. Pero mas maganda nga siguro if a child has a problem kung mas maraming kausap. Pero syempre, please, gut feel muna po tayo. And I trust naman po na wala po sa ating mga abusive people dito sa ating district. I know wala naman. Next po. Gift giving. May rule sa amin dito sa bahay na kung halimbawa may bibigyan akong kapatid ko ng regalo, dapat lahat sila meron. Buti na lang, 3 lang kami. So, in the case of interactors, it would be entirely suspect na hindi naman kayo related sa isa't isa, pero binibigyan mo siya ng regalo. For what purpose? Now, if it is an award or recognition for something that definitely is based on merit, then wala tayong problema. Especially if the gift is nothing much of value. Pagkain, trophy or certificate. Pero kung bibigyan mo siya ng trip to Bohol, kasama ka, tapos kayo lang dalawa, that is an X mark. So, dun sa mga youth protection officers ng iba-ibang mga clubs, please look out for this behavior. Ingat po kayo. And baka ito yung mga ire-report nyo. Next po. Now, what is the difference between sexual abuse and sexual harassment? Now, sexual abuse can be defined as engaging in or arranging implicit or explicit sexual acts, whether they're performed alone or with another person of any age or gender through force or coercion or with anyone who cannot consent. When we say anyone who cannot consent, nabanggit na natin ang usapin dyan ng age, which is 17 years old and below. By law, they cannot give consent. Also, kapag halimbawa ang kanilang mental state is not on a lucid state and meron silang mental conditions, they cannot give consent. So, kapag halimbawa may sexual abuse, sexual abuse na nangyari diyan, then that is a really no-no. Now, question, sir, hindi ba ang sex is not something that's not abusive in nature? I mean, husband and wife, they have sex. Diba? Let's talk about this in a more mature light, no? Yes, of course, ang mag-asawa is expected to do the deed in order to have children and what have you, because they have a permission coming from the state na sila ay magsasama at magbubuo ng isang pamilya. That is a norm. Pero when we talk about sexual abuse, that is if and only if somebody is going out of bounds. That he uses his power or he uses his authority para makakuha ng sexual favor coming from a person who cannot consent or who you violated a consent. So halimbawa, there's this one professor, hindi ko na matandaan yung subject niya. Mabuti nang hindi na natin pag-usapan. Whenever we're on the finals na, nakakatakot na itong professor na ito kasi lagi siyang mayroong ipapakitang class cards sa kanyang mga female students, and kapag gusto niya yung female student niya yun, bibigyan niya yun ng 4 na grade, which is a failing grade. And ang ano doon, ang pag-uusapan doon is kung pagbibigyan ba siya sexually or she will attain the bad grade. So, nakulong yon, of course. That is a form of abuse. Obviously. Kasi, number 1, hindi ka naman gusto ng girl eh. Wala ka namang consent eh. Hindi naman ikaw yung lover eh. You just gave in because pinwersa ka. So yun yung sexual abuse. Now, how about sexual harassment? Harassment can be defined as sexual advancement or requests for sexual acts or verbal or physical conduct of any sexual nature who is unwanted or directed by someone who is unwilling or unable to consent. So, essentially, when we say things, ask for things na hindi appropriate, especially if it is a sexual favor, that is harassment. Name calling included. Yung mga naririnig ng mga girls na lumalabas ng bahay nila, coming from mga kapitbahay na mga sobrang pamacho, saying, "Miss, ang ganda mo," sisipulan, that is sexual harassment. So, ingat po tayo sa mga ganung bagay. Next po. Now, these are the types of sexual harassment. Check na lang po natin. Next po. Now, these are the signs of abuse or harassment. So, pag-usapan natin yan. Physical injuries only madalas may mga ganyan, Pero most of the time, ang makikita natin kung hindi man yung physical injuries, kasi malamang sa malamang itatago ito ng mga victims natin, what you would see are those na coming from the inside, looming outside. Sabi nga out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So you will see it from the way she talks or not talk. You will see it from the way he or she acts before and after. So makikita na bigla lang siya nag-withdraw from the crowd, nagiging masama ang ugali, nanghihingi ng kung ano-ano, 12 years old pero nagiging promiscuous na. That is going to be a good sign of abuse or harassment. Next po. Now, how to recognize your offenders? First, access. So, itong offender na to should continuously or persistently request for access or should continue looking for access for anything na may kinalaman sa kanilang i-victimize. Second, privacy. Lagi siya nagre-request ng private time with the kids. And more importantly, yung i-initiate niya ng control over the victim. Remember that abuse always is an entailment of power. A bad entailment of it actually. So, control is always going to be the big issue. Next po. Now, pag-usapan natin ng grooming. Kanina na-define natin yung grooming as setting yung environment na parang siya ay mabuting tao. This is a behavior in which the offender enables trust from the non-consenting individual or the minor. So, una, pag-seek out ng individual time, pag-isolate, offering of special treatment, you can keep your secrets with me, blah, blah. Yung touching na inappropriate, sometimes paunti-unti po yan. Desensitizing, forcing of consent, and giving gifts. So, para makuha yung tiwala, yung grooming is basically yung pagkuha ng tiwala ng bata. Next po. And mind you, pagdating pala sa grooming, hindi lang po yung bata ang ginugroom niya. Yung offenders may groom even the surroundings, the environment, to ensure that the environment, the society, the organization doesn't make them feel na itong taong to ay isang offender. So it happens too. So may mind conditioning games na nangyayari. Now, how do we respond? Next po. Now, how to respond to inappropriate behavior? The first thing to do, adults and kids, kapag may nakita tayo or na-experience kayo na isang behavior na alam nating abusive na, let's stop the behavior right away. Learn to say no. I guess one of the things that parents should teach children, even from a young age, is to ask, to enable them or have them say no. Kapag nagki-create tayo ng mga bata na walang ibang alam kundi mag-yes sa magulang o mag-yes sa authority or mag-yes sa kung kanino man, we are not doing the child any favor. We are merely making subservient children. And these subservient children are going to be prone for abuse. So yes, it's okay if we teach our kids, and it's okay if kids learn to say no to their parents, learn to say no to other people, especially if it's something that they don't really want to consent. Second, now have a trusted adult ask the participant if they would like to discuss what happened with you or with another trained volunteer. So, mas maganda, hindi tayo pwedeng yung kagad na magtatanong. It depends upon the level of trust between the offended child and you, or of any adult. So as much as possible, let's ask the more trusted person. And another thing, immediately report the behavior to the appropriate club and district leaders according to your district's youth protection policy. Since medyo bureaucratic naman ang dating natin, siguro if this is not an interact club, halimbawa kung sariling interact club naman, if it can be solved within the club level, let's report the behavior to the club uh, officials. Pero kung halimbawang one interact club of another Rotary club na hinost ng isa pang Rotary club and doon nangyari yung abuse sa Rotary club event na yon, then as much as possible, kung kayang pag-usapan ng dalawang clubs yung action na kailangang i-take, pwede siguro. Pero kung halimbawa hindi na makaya, then it must be elevated to the district level. Now, more importantly, document what you saw or what you were told, as well as any actions taken. But then again, leave the investigation to your club or district leaders or an independent committee appointed for that purpose. And of course, after documenting, make sure that the appropriate action is taken after you've made your report. If you feel that the behavior was not adequately addressed, contact the RI staff members for assistance. And yes, RI po ay may sariling committee for this. You can send them an email informing them of what happened. But then again, ladies and gentlemen, as much as possible, kung kaya natin siyang i-contain within the club and district levels, kung pwede tayong gumawa ng action within the club and district levels, let's do it, and then let's just report when the action is already taken. As much as possible, ibigay natin sa mga club and district natin yung responsibility to do whatever they can do. Ngayon, kung halimbawa hindi kayo nasiyahan talaga, then if we have no choice, sige, we can go to the Rotary International. But then, of course, I would encourage you. Their email address is just on the youth protection policy PDF file on the Rotary website. It's always available. You can always report kung halimbawang legitimate yung ating course of action. Next po. Now, ito ang dapat malaman ng ating mga district leaders.
Masaya mo, tanggalin ko pa.
Yan. So, may naka-unmute yata. Teka lang ha.
Okay na.
Kami naka-unmute pa yata po. Okay na ba? Okay, sorry. Na ako. Okay. Now, first off, let's make sure that everyone needs to know about the behavior that happened. So, whether it be on a club, district level, or kung halimbawang wala na tayong magagawa sa international level, kailangan alam po yung behavior na naganap. And then, second, we need to talk to the young person and their parent or guardian. Take note po of the operative word, it should be "and". So, when we talk with the child, it should be with the parents or with the legal guardian. Tell them what was reported or observed and let the young people do, or let the young person do so. So kung saan siya komportable. Now, tell them both that the adult indeed violated the district's policy and assure them that their safety is the highest priority. You can let them ask questions if they have, and let them express their concerns. Now, let us also review the district records to see whether the concerning behavior or similar complaints about the same person has been reported in the past. So, tingnan natin yung mga records niya. And that is exactly the reason why documenting yung mga bakit nagba-background check tayo? Gusto natin mag-background check ng mga volunteers na kinukuha natin is so to ensure na malalaman natin kung meron bang nakaraan ito na medyo madilim. Kasi whatever they can do in the past, definitely they can do it until now. Next po. Now, they should also inform the person who has been accused about the report. Yes, importante po na hindi lang yung offender ang bibigyan natin ng pagkakataong makapagsalita. In the Constitution, everyone is afforded the due process of the law and should be given the equal protection of the law. Now, you should also give them the details of the reported behavior and explain why the behavior violates the policies. And then, of course, tell them what actions will be taken. Now, since pinag-usapan natin ng due process, we cannot necessarily say na walang investigation na magaganap prior to us saying, telling the accused kung ano yung nangyari. Of course, we should involve the statements of the accused and see if it has merit. Pero syempre, we have this thinking na ang ating mga kabataan ay hindi naman magsisinungaling sa atin yan. Whenever an abuse comes in, it's too traumatic an event para gawan lang nila ng kwento. Pero, of course, just to be on the safe side, baka mamaya magtanggal tayo ng maling tao sa club, let us hear their side as well. Next, give the youth participants' parents or legal guardians an update about the situation and explain any actions that the district is taking. So, hindi man siya mukhang necessary, no? Pero mas maganda siguro kung proactively binibigay natin ang commitment natin sa ating mga young people and sa kanilang mga parents. Pero mas maganda na mai-commit natin sa kanila voluntarily na ito po yung mga nangyayari, ito po yung nangyayari sa investigation, and ito po yung nagaganap. This is what's going to happen kung halimbawang mapatunayan na nagkasala talaga yung individual, so that they would also know kung ano yung nangyayari, and at the same time, they feel comfortable that something is being done. And more importantly, advise the person who first reported the problem that the report was taken seriously and that it would be investigated and addressed promptly. If appropriate, tell them what actions will be taken. This is para i-encourage natin yung lahat na magre-report ng ganitong mga situations na i-report every time kasi may confidence sila sa pinag-reportan nila na tinitake seriously yung kanilang reports. Next po. Now, talk with anyone who may need to help implement the actions, whether it be the district governor, whether it be the district coordinating chair, whether it be me, whether it be Ma'am Ses. You can always talk to us so that we would know ano yung kaya namin gawin and we will do it to the best of our abilities. And then, stay in contact with those who are implementing the plan and continue to monitor the situation. When these things happen, it is of utmost importance that we know the entirety, the gravity of the situation, especially if it leads with child abuse. Important sa atin na na maipakita kung gaano tayo kaseryoso in dealing with child abuse within our ranks. Because as far as we're concerned, Rotary loves its youth. Rotary puts the prime on Rotary. So let us take youth protection seriously. Next po. Ano pa ba?
That's the end of your slide.
I guess that's all. That's the end of the slide. So, I don't know if we still have time for questions. If you have questions, you may point it now. Maraming salamat po at magandang hapon sa inyo.
Thank you, Alden, for sharing that. I know it's kind of lengthy for some, but you have to remember that this is, as mentioned by the last part of the discussion, we have to take this seriously because as Rotarians, as teachers, yung mga schools na kasama natin dito, we need to really do something in our program, no, that will protect our youth. And speaking of our responsibilities as leaders and syempre as advisors din mamaya pag-uusapan natin yan. Now, let me just first share my screen to everyone so that I can proceed with the awarding of certificate for our speaker. Okay. So once again, thank you, Rotarian Alden, for sharing your time to our advocacy of promoting youth protection, particularly the policy of RI. And on that note, I would like to award the certificate of appreciation to you as our guest speaker during the All for the Youth seminar for the Interact Advisors and Rotary Youth Program Directors, given this 10th day of July 2021 via Zoom, signed by our DIC Princess and Cabo, DCC Juanito Boycao, and our District Governor Robert Coa. Once again, maraming salamat, Alden. And as mentioned by Alden,
Thank you so much po sa lahat
ng inyong mga questions in the chat box. Then later on, we will be entertaining your questions during the open forum. At this point, to discuss to us the roles and responsibilities of the Interact Advisors, let us call on PDRR Erica Paiwan, our chair for the District Interact School Advisors Council or DISAC. Erica.
Ayan. So, magandang hapon po. Maraming salamat, DRC Chok. Good afternoon, everyone. Is my audio clear po, DRC?
Yes.
Ayan. Pasensya na. Kinabahan din po yung PowerPoint ko at yung laptop ko. So nag-back down siya kanina. Anyway, na-resolve naman po ang ating technical difficulty at my end. So once again, magandang hapon po and welcome to our discussion on the roles and responsibilities of the of the Interact Club Advisors. So please allow me po to share my screen. So, gaya nabanggit ni DRC na meron pala tayong open forum later. So, kung meron po kayong mga questions, pwede niyo po siyang i-chat while we are on discussion, and then we'll respond to it po after the presentation. So, let me walk you through as a guide po natin for our life-changing Interact Club Advisors. But before that, gusto ko lang po kayong makilala pa. Although may mga nakita akong familiar faces na mga Interact Club Advisors natin. So mayroon lang po tayong gagawing short activity. So I invite everyone po to go to slido.com and enter the code #IAC2021 or pwede nyo pong i-screen itong QR code sa inyong screens para po ma-redirect kayo doon sa ating Slido. Okay. Sige po, I'll give you time, no? Punta po kayo sa slido.com and then paki-enter lang yung IAC 2021. Punta lang po ako doon sa ating sa ating isang slide. Okay. Ayan. So, sige po, andito na po ba tayo? Punta lang po kayo sa slido.com and then enter yung #IAC2021 or pwede po kayong gumamit ng QR code. And so gusto ko lang po malaman kung kamusta po ba kayo. Sige, pasok lang po tayo. We'll wait for you inside. Sige po. Sige, may mga sagot na, no? So, kamusta ka? Kamusta ka ngayong hapon? Kamusta ka after marinig ang mga previous sharings and discussion? So, nakakatuwa, no? Great. They're feeling great. Mabuti naman. With pa-heart. Ito, maganda pa rin. Sana all. Di na nga ako fresh, no? Happy as it is weekend. Okay? So, okay naman, fine. Pagod, pero lumalaban. That's great to know, no? Lahat po tayo ay may pinagdadaanan, pero laban lang. Law of Attraction sa raffle. May pa-raffle pala ang Madam Cess. So, abangan natin yan. Super informative po. So, marami na natutunan. Doing great. Coping. At pretty pa rin. So, maganda po yan. Ituloy natin ang pagiging maganda. Maganda sa loob at labas ng ating pagkatao. Ayan, aking mahal, sana nasa mabuti ka. Sige po. Mukha namang okay pa sila, Sir Chok, no? Mag-proceed po tayo sa ating next na question. So ngayon po, para sa mga advisors nandito, gusto ko malaman, kayo ba ay bagong AYAC advisor? So click nyo lang po yung yes kung bago kayo this year or na ang experienced advisor na ata. Mahiya, okay lang. Madami kami matututunan. I think marami na kayo natutunan kay Attorney Alden, no? More learnings, manalo sa raffle at matuto. Kailangan talaga yung raffle. It's a must, no? Yung learning, yung experience to be an effective advisor. So hopefully kapag tapos po nitong ating sessions ngayong hapon, mas makatulong to sa inyo para mas mag-effective tayo. Happy lang. happy lang, masyado seryoso, Erica. Pagod na kami sa trabaho. Ganun po ba yun? Ma-enlighten. Okay. Sige po. Okay. To overcome the challenges. Sige. Kasamaan po namin kayo dyan. Sige po. So let's now end our Slido. Maraming salamat po sa mga nakipag-participate at sana medyo natanggal ang antok ninyo. Sige po. Mag-share screen lang po ulit ako. Ayan. Okay. So, maraming salamat po ulit sa mga nag-participate. And now we know na marami rin pala sa kasama natin ngayong hapon, yung bagong Interact Club Advisor. So, as we walk you through po no, sa inyong mga roles and responsibilities, alalahanin lang po natin na yung meron tayong district interact team na katulong nyo po no, sa pagkasagawa ng or pag-fulfill ng inyong duties bilang mga Interact Club Advisors. Yan. So, ano lang po ba, no? Ito lang yung glance ng ating discussion ngayong hapon. Webinar objective, isa lang po pala yan, sorry. Konting facts lang about Interact. Of course, yung roles and responsibilities ninyo. And yung calendar of activities, ipa-finalize lang po yan ng ating district pero i-share din po natin afterwards. Yeah. So, objective natin mainly, of course, to orient ang ating mga incoming club advisors sa kanilang roles and responsibilities. So yan ang ating pinaka-pakay ngayong hapon. So dito naman po tayo sa mga Interact facts, ano? Sa mga bago. So ang ating Interact Club po ay isang Rotary Rotary program, no, na kinabibilangan ng mga students na nasa 12 to 18 years old. So dati after po kasi ng Interact, meron tayong Rotary program before pero hindi na po siya programa ng Rotary ngayon. Isa na siyang membership member na po ng Rotary International, si Rotaract. Okay. So, kaya po ito ay open sa mga high school students natin sa sa junior high school and senior high school. Okay. So, ang mga Rotaract clubs, Interact clubs po ay nagbi-meet at least twice a month lang naman. And sila po ay sponsored ng isang Rotary club. Walang Interact Club ang hindi sponsored ng isang Rotary Club. Pero maganda po na ipakilala din natin bilang mga club advisors sa ating mga junakis, no, kung sino ba yung ating sponsoring Rotary Club. So i-remind ko lang po, no, at least twice a month. Hindi naman po kailangan every week or every twice a week ay nagmi-meet yung club ninyo. No, tandaan natin sila ay mga students, ang kanila pong primary role or role ay or goal ay magkaroon ng maayos na academic status, no, secondary lang po yung pagkakaroon ng extracurricular activity. Next po, tayo po sa Interact Club ay nag-organize ng 2 projects per year. So 2 lang po yung required. Hindi rin po paligsahan, no, or paramihan kung ilan ba yung projects na ikakandak natin in a year. So gusto po natin ng quality. At the same time, ayun nga, ayaw natin na maging hindering factor sa studies ng ating mga students. So 2 lang po, at least isang project that would help their school or community, at saka isa po na magpapromote ng international understanding. So more on a partnership din po siya, no, na pinopromote yung process ng Rotary. And lastly po, no, ang Interact Club ay isa pong organization na hindi lang po siya nakatuon sa pagtulong or pag-conduct ng mga community service activities, pero nakafocus din po siya in developing the leadership skills and interpersonal skills of every member. No, hindi lang po si President, hindi lang si Secretary, pero lahat po ng members natin. Kaya maganda po yung sharing kanina ni ni John Paul, tama ba ako, Sir Chok? No, kung na-share niya sa atin kung gaano siya natulungan ng organization. So, maganda po, ibig sabihin na-achieve ng Rotary yung goal sa kanya at sa mga ka-members niya. So, ngayon po, mag-move na po tayo sa ano ba yung mga roles and responsibilities ninyo. So, ito ba yung suggested or recommended roles and responsibilities base po sa handbook ng Rotary para po sa mga Interact Club advisors. Ayan. So, una po is to mentor and motivate. So, paano daw natin siya gagawin? Number 1, offer advice during project planning. So, again, ito po ay advice lamang. No? Ibig sabihin, hahayaan po natin yung ating mga bata na mag-initiate, magbigay ng mga ideas nila when it comes to project planning, paano siya gagawin. Andun tayo para magbigay ng guidance, para matulungan sila ano pa yung pwedeng idagdag para mas ma-achieve nila yung goal nila dun sa project na yun. Hindi po si advisor yung magbibigay ng project. Okay. Malinaw po tayo dyan, ha? Okay. Next, inspire members during challenging times. Sabi nga po ni John Paul kanina, yung mga students natin sa Interact, they look up to their club advisors. Sila yung ginagawa nilang inspiration. So during trying times, especially kapag nakikita niyo po na nahihirapan na pagsabayan yung kanilang academic and extracurricular activities, it's our time na tulungan itong ating mga members para kamustahin sila, ano ba yung nangyari, para po matulungan naman natin sila. At the same time, ma-inspire sa mga pwede nating i-share sa kanila na experiences and learning. So, and then, if conflicts occur, encourage interactors to find constructive ways to resolve them. So, dito po sa ating pangatlong function, ini-encourage po na hayaan muna natin yung ating mga interactor na sila yung mismong maghanap ng ways para ma-resolve yung kanilang na-encounter na difficulty. Pero andun po tayo, nakasubaybay kung ano man yung ma-identify nila at magbibigay pa rin po tayo ng mga advice na makakatulong para mas mapabilis at mas maging efficient sila dun sa pag-resolve po sa mga conflict na na-encounter. Ayan. Next po is to oversee officer elections and provide guidance to make sure that they are fair. Yan. So dito po pero simple lang naman sa school setting, simple lang naman po ang ating naging election. Ang siguro ang maganda lang pong makita natin dito is that lahat mabigyan ng fair chance para ma-elect as officer. Kasi 'di ba sometimes when we are in school, parang kapag yung members natin, sila na yung mga active do sa ibang organization or sa class, sila na yung madalas or sila yung lagi na na-elect. So tayo po bilang mga advisors, i-open natin yung opportunity sa iba nating mga students kasi 'di ba ang goal natin sa Interact Club at ang goal ng Rotary ay ma-develop po sila. So hopefully through this organization, mas mag-blossom pa yung students natin. Hindi lang yung lagi sila nakasupport. Ang goal ay sa susunod na taon siya na yung magiging president. So meron tayong tinitrain habang sila ay mga nasa younger grade level. Ayan. So last po, for mentor and motivate is to support innovative project ideas. Of course, yun naman talaga ang main role natin, to support our interactors. So let's encourage them to think out of the box, tumingin pa sa mga ibang mga beneficiaries na pwede pang matulungan, hindi yung kung sino yung parang binigyan ng isang organization, yun din yung yun din yung ating pagtutuunan ng pansin. I remember po when I was an advisor sa Malate Catholic School, ginawa namin yung project day off, kung familiar po kayo doon, yung kay Carmina Villaruel. Pinag-day off po namin yung aming mga janitors sa school, pinag-movie date sila, pinag foot massage, tapos binigyan po sila ng groceries. Sa mga hindi naman po kailangan sobrang bongga, pero at least nabibigyan ng opportunity na makakita tayo ng bagong perspective kung paano natin gagawin yung mga projects natin. And again, nakalagay po doon sa ating sa binanggit ko kanina na yung projects po natin ay mas maganda nakafocus po muna sa school or sa ating nearest community. Ayan. So ito po, next na function natin or ating role is to facilitate and protect. Itong protect, nabigyan na po ito ng explanation ng ating naunang speaker na si Attorney Alden. So of course, we are there to attend the meetings and ensure that all members feel safe and respected. So kumbaga tayo po yung mag-moderate nung flow ng meeting. Pero hindi po tayo mag-preside. We can co-preside kapag kailangan, kailangan ng help ni President. Pero andun lang po tayo as overseer. Tapos kapag nakikita natin na nagkakaroon na ng parang may nag-start na fight between or conflict between our interactors, sila po yung time para pumasok na po tayo dun sa picture. And then of course, tayo rin po yung mag-supervise ng mga activities and projects ng ating club inside and outside the district. Inside the school and in the district pala. Yeah. So next is we handle the equipment needs and logistics as part at project sites. Bilang tayo po ay mga employees sa school, teachers and TP staff, tayo po yung maging katulong ng mga students natin sa pag secure ng mga kailangan natin na equipments sa mga activities natin. And then of course we help them create a calendar of Interact events for the whole year para rin po makikita natin kung ano ba yung mga tatamaan yan o wag tayo maglalagay ng activities week before the examinations. Huwag tayong sumabay sa family day kasi yan ay kumbaga yan ay time para sa school. So yun po yung ating role. And of course, yan po kapag meron tayong calendar of activities, yan dapat tayong na-disseminate sa ating members. At the same time, maganda po na yan ay i-share ninyo or i-endorse nyo sa district officers, sa ating district interact chair so that they can assist you or they can participate sa activity po ninyo sa inyong clubs. Maganda po ma-establish natin yung magandang relationship with the district. Next is to secure parental consent for all club social media activities. So hindi lang po siya social media, pati yung mga physical activities kung magkakaroon na ulit tayo. But for the following year, wala pa face-to-face classes. So kahit po ngayon na ang ginagamit nating platform is social media, it's important na sa lahat po ng activities ng Interact ay meron tayong signed na parental consent. At the same time, it's very important that we have a directory of the parents or guardians of our students. Kung meron nga po kayong, kung kaya pa po ng powers nyo, makagawa ng group chat with the parents aside from the group chat ng kids, better din po so that meron kayong real-time updates sa mga activities po ninyo sa club. Pwede nyo rin po sa heads up na dear parents, we're going to conduct an activity on this date, ganyan. So we will be sending a letter po para sa inyong mga anak, mga ganyang po. Kung kaya po natin, pero syempre hindi na po kaya yung GC, okay lang naman. Importante before the activity, the conduct of activity ay hawak na po ng ating mga advisors ang ating parental consent. And of course, let's make sure that Rotary policies are followed whenever young people travel, work with adults, and use social media. So kung mapapansin niyo po, talagang nakasama na rito yung paggamit ng social media because in this generation, ito na po isa sa mga importanteng platforms that we use in school and outside school activities. So maganda po na nauna na rin po si Attorney Alden kanina na mag-discuss ng mga Rotary policies regarding child protection. And next po is to connect and coach. Yeah. So syempre, it's important na we exchange stories, ideas, and strategies with the District Interact Chair kay Ms. Tess. Bukod po doon, maganda rin po na meron tayong kumbaga fellowship or time with our co-advisors, no? Para lang din po nagkakakilanlan tayo, nakakapag-share tayo ng mga best practices, or kung meron tayong i-share na paano ba nila ginawa ng isang activity, no? Para lang din po magkaroon tayo ng inspiration and kumbaga meron tayong ka-share ng ating mga thoughts and hinanaing sa ating organization. So, wag po kayo mag-alala bilang DISAC Chair. Ako po ang makakatulong ni Miss Princess Encabo, ni PPSES, para po makakipag-coordinate sa lahat ng ating mga advisors. So, please expect Messenger GC rin po, no? Nagagawin po natin para lang magkaroon tayo ng kamustahan at ma-update po tayo sa mga activities po natin sa district. At the same time, you can use that GC para po i-inform kami kung ano po yung mga activities ninyo. And maganda rin pala to DRC Chok and DIC SES because itong time ng ating orientation kasi tapos na yung school year, so mas makakapag-prepare sila for the following year. So next po is to help maintain accurate club records and oversee club funds. So ito po is one of the important things na kailangan natin gawin. Although sa school naman, no, strict naman po ang ating mga administrator when it comes to submission ng mga club documents, yung club plans, mga financial reports po natin. So maganda po, no, na meron tayong copy ng ating na-submit sa ating school admin. At ito po, yung oversee club funds. Hindi ko po alam kung ang mga clubs po ninyo ay nagkakaroon ng membership fee. Pero it's important na kapag meron po tayong fund na kinolect, no, membership fee man yan or for certain club activities, yan po ay naka-record and reported during regular club meetings. Hindi lang po sa officers, pero pati sa members. So that they can be assured na yung kanilang fund na sinashare or contributions na binibigay sa club ay nagagamit po sa kung ano man yung use na sinabi natin sa kanila. Maganda rin po that this can be shared to the parents, no, para lang din malay niyo po through that makakuha rin tayo ng additional support from them. And to ensure, it is our role to ensure that the club provides contact information to Rotary every year. Isa po ito sa medyo challenging pong part, kasi sometimes when the incumbent club advisor resigns or leaves the school, hindi na po na-update si Rotary, sponsoring Rotary Club. So, maganda po na sana every school year, no, na-update po natin sila. At the same time, pati si district and pati po yung ating Rotary portal, no. Kasi we are obligated as a club to report the names of our club advisor. So para po hindi po tayo, para masabi ni Rotary Club, Rotary International that we are an active club. Kasi kapag hindi po, we can be suspended. Tapos later on, kung hindi po talaga siya na-update, pwede po ma-terminate. Okay, so importante po yan. Kung hindi niyo po alam how, you can ask DIC SES or yung inyo pong mga Rotary Club presidents, no, para po matulungan kayo so ma-check kung kayo ba ay reported. So next, it is your responsibility to promote interact to Rotarians, school leaders, and community members. Why? Of course, kasama po yan sa ating PR, para mas makilala nila ano ba yung ginagawa ng organization. Second, this is important kasi nabanggit ko nga po kanina, kapag nagre-resign, minsan yung advisor na talagang siya yung nakakaalam ng lahat ng ganap ng interact sa kanilang school, sa district. Pag umalis po siya, nawawala na yung interact sa school. So important po ito na makita rin, no, ng ating school administration yung ating main purpose, yung ating significance, para hindi sila mahirap i-encourage na ituloy po natin yung Interact Club because it has a good cause. Okay. So again, let's promote. Let's use the social media. Kung meron po kayong page, better. Gamitin ang bulletin board kapag nagbalik na po tayo sa school. And kung kaya po ng inyong club, no, you can make your own newsletter. Pwede po siyang online or printed. or pwede po kayong makipag-usap sa inyong school paper, how you can promote it, no? Para naisasama po natin siya. So susunod, hindi na rin po kayo mahihirapang mag-recruit ng members kasi alam na nila kung ano yung ginagawa ng club ninyo. And ito po isa sa maganda na function natin, no, ng connection. Kasi it's our role to coordinate leadership trainings for Interact officers and members by connecting them with RILA, district leadership events, and local training opportunities. So gaya nga po nasabi ko, Interact is also focused on developing the leadership and interpersonal skills of every member. Kaya naman po, it's very important na hindi lang tayo puro community service. Maganda po na umattend tayo ng mga activities sa district, no? Meron tayong District Interact Assembly, binibigay po dyan yung orientation about the functions of the officers, ano yung ginagawa ng organization, meron din nyo dyan conference, and you can also conduct your own seminar na you see fit, no, para sa needs po ng inyong mga students. No, kung nakita nyo na kailangan nilang mag-improve pagdating sa pag-handle ng finances sa club, you can conduct financial literacy activities or seminars. No? So sa tingin nyo, kahit ano po, any topic that would help them develop their leadership potentials, it would be better po kung mai-provide po yan ng club ninyo sa kanila. Yan. And ano yes, okay. Ito po yung ating ibang function. It is our function. Ito yung isa sa mga main, no, function, which is yung you coordinate with the school. Electric fan ko. Ayan, sige. Hinangin po ako. Ayan. It is our function, no, to do coordination between the school, the sponsoring Rotary Club, nakatawa kay Sir Jock, and with the district. Okay. So, dahil tayo naman po, syempre, hindi naman agad makakalabas yung mga bata, tayo po yung link between the district. Pag may announcement sa district, tayo magbabasa sa mga bata. Pag merong kailangang may policy sa school, no, na kailangang ipaalam sa ating sponsoring Rotary Club and sa district, tayo po yung papaalam. Because kayo po yung nandun sa immediate community ng ating organization. So you verify that members meet the school academic requirements. This is very important po, no? Kasi tayo po yung bantay kung yung mga bata ba natin okay pa sa school, pasado pa ba lahat ng grades, no? Baka naman puro interact activities lang ginagawa. So tayo po yan. It's our job. Also, we approve all interact related announcements and communications. So syempre, given nga po na mas alam natin yung policies ng school, so tayo po yung mag-guide sa ating mga anak kung tama ba o nasunod ba yung mga policy related po noon sa paglalabas po ng announcement, especially in social media. Yan. Pati po yung mga mga simpleng task po sa logo ng mga ilalabas niya pong posters, no? Dapat alam po natin yan. Kasi iba po baka gumagamit pa ng old logo ng Interact, meron na po tayong bago. Okay, next ay itong nabanggit ko, act as a liaison officer between the sponsoring Rotary Club, school principal, faculty, and staff. Pati na rin po sa parents. Okay? And of course, ayan, gain support from colleagues and parents. No, maganda nga po na talagang napopromote natin yung organization to the school, the community, and to Rotary para madali po tayo makahingi ng support, especially pag may mga donation drives kayong gagawin. Ay, sa Interact yan, wait, bibigay tayo ng mga kailangan nila. O, diba? Mabilis na lang po. Hindi na kayo mahirapan kasi kumbaga na-establish nyo na yung credibility ng inyong organization. And keep apprised of changing school policies that can affect the administration of the Interact Club. This is one of the parang most important reminder or function din na kailangan po nating isapuso kasi as mentioned nga po earlier, tayo yung nandun sa school. So maganda po na kapag merong bagong policy sa school, especially makaka-apekto po siya sa ating organization, kailangan po i-inform natin si sponsoring Rotary Club at the same time si district kasi baka mamaya biglang biglang naghigpit sila sa organization sa school. So, tapos kami parang pa-invite ng mga bata kasi gusto ko namin ng participation para mas makilala nyo rin yung district, di ba, and the organization. So, parang magtataka kami, hindi na kayo uma-attend. Yun pala, meron palang bagong policy sa school. So, ano lang po, kahit i-chat nyo lang po si Mrs., no? Or i-forward nyo lang po yung policy so that, ano rin po, updated ang ating officers sa district. At maire-relay po yan sa ating governor. Kapag yun po ang nangyari, of course, kung may concern po na kailangan i-address, matutulungan po tayo ng Office of the Governor. So, that's it po for the functions and responsibilities po ng ating mga Interact Club advisors. So, mainly, andun po tayo to support, to guide our interactors, no? To help them develop their potentials, and of course, to coordinate between the district, the sponsoring Rotary Club, and the school. So having said that po, ito po yung mga club officers po na dapat meron kayo for your club. No, of course, dapat meron po kayong president, meron kayong vice president, secretary, treasurer. So sila po yung executive board natin. And then meron din po tayong directors na nakafocus sa mga iba't ibang avenues po na kailangan po nating bigyang pansin din or i-develop. Of course, sa club service. When you say club service po, ito yung mga activities na nakatuon sa mga club members. So ito yung pagpapatawag ng meetings, pag-conduct ng mga fellowship activities, and pati po yung mga recruitment drive nakapasok po dyan. Of course, community service, self-explanatory na po. Papasok lang po dyan lahat ng mga activities for the community, and international service. Sa atin po, sa Interact at sa Rotaract, when we say international service, it's conducting projects, no, with partners outside the district or outside our organization. So yun lang po yun. Pwedeng isa siyang community service na ang partner natin ay taga District 3820. So automatic po siya, magpo-fall din siya under international service. So anong gagawin ng international service director? Siya po yung kumbaga nagko-coordinate, no? Siya yung pinaka focal person natin para kumausap doon sa focal person din ng ibang district. Of course, with the guidance of the club advisor. And of course, si finance, siya po yung mag-oversee ng ating budgeting, ng pagdating sa planning ng activities, and siya yung taga-monitor ng fund at siya yung magbibigay ng report. Siyempre, tutulungan niya si treasurer dyan. So, treasurer naman po yung nagko-collect. So, that's it po for my talk. At hopefully, nakatulong po ito para sa inyong journey bilang mga Interact Club advisors. So, sabi nga po, a mentor is not someone who walks ahead of you to show you how they did it. Pero a mentor walks alongside you to show you what you can do. So that ends my presentation. If you have questions, very willing po tayong sagutin yan. And ito po ang aking contact details, no? Para pwede niyo po akong i-chat or i-email, tawagan kapag kailangan niyo po ng aming assistance. So yun lang po. Maraming salamat.
Thank you, Erica, for sharing this to all of us. Ang gusto ko yung sinabi mo about the advisors and organization walking together with the interactors. Kasi yun naman talaga ang essence ng mentoring. As advisors and mentors and leaders of our organization, importante talaga that we give assistance to our members. And on that note, Erica, I would like to present this certificate of appreciation, for your contribution as our guest speaker for the All for the Youth seminar for the Interact advisors and Rotary Youth Program directors, given this 10th day of July 2021 via Zoom, signed by our District Interact Chair, Princess Encabo, our District Coordinating Chair, Juanito Boycao, and our District Governor, Robert Coa, who is still in the call. Thank you, Governor, for joining us. Ito ay isang patunay lamang how the district is supporting Interact, not only Rotaract but also Interact. Kasi sabi nga ni Paul Deng, this is the time for us to invest in the youth para makagawa tayo ng marami pang Paul Dengs at marami pang mga interactors who are now turned Rotarians and nagsiserve na rin sa distrito natin like kami ni AG Patrick, hindi ba? So on that note, maraming pong salamat talaga to everyone for joining us in this, of course, webinar. At this point po, I will be calling, of course, our District Interact Chair. Okay? Mag-mute po ako ng mabilisan. Ha? Yeah, okay pa. Bago pala tawagin si DIC Princess, tayo pala ay mag-Q&A muna. Siguro kung may questions kayo, type it in the chat box, or if you want to raise your questions, you can just raise your hand, unmute yourselves, and then introduce yourself. Baka po may mga tanong kayo or any comments po that you might have with regards to our webinar. Key takeaways, mga natutunan, kung meron man po. Anyone is free to ask questions or to comment with regards to our webinar po. Maybe you can share your realization. I know it's a long day for everyone, pero it's worth the wait because marami tayong natutunan talaga, no? Ako, my own reflection as a former interactor and now serving the district as DRC, ang dami natin talagang dapat gawin at dapat i-consider. Hindi biro ang pagtatayo ng organization. Pero sana, as you listen to the talk of our speakers, no, hindi kayo na-discourage na, naku, ang dami pala mga batas-batas na ganyan, ang hirap naman yan. Pero it's really something that we need to consider because talagang ang ginugroom natin ay mga kabataan. So hindi biro-biro ang pagtuturo sa ating mga kabataan. A lot of our participants, Erica, are saying their thank yous to your presentation at naghahingi sila ng copy ng yung slides. Definitely po, for all the talks mula kay Paul Deng, kay Alden at kay Erica, we'll be sharing the slides to all of you. We have your emails po. Ipapadala po namin yan sa inyo. So maraming salamat po. Okay, I think wala po tayo mga questions or anything from our participants. So I guess, yeah, masayang Slido sa mga teachers na nandyan, alam nyo yan. Hindi ba? Okay. We have given already the certificate to our guest speaker. So at this point, I will be calling on DIC Princess and Cabo for some important announcements and reminders to everyone. Princess.
You're on mute, so you're on mute. Yes.
Magpapalit na lang po kami ng pwesto ni Princess para marinig niyo po siya. It's good that we're here in the same office. Okay, Princess, wait lang.
Ayan, hindi ko alam bakit hindi ako marinig, pero nandito na po ako sa Studio B. Magandang hapon ulit. Yun, kagaya ng sinasabi ko kanina, gusto ko lang magpasalamat po for everyone for joining us this afternoon. And special mention sa ating host club, ang Rotary Club of Metro Escolta, at ang lahat ng co-host clubs for supporting the very first activity of the youth service team, no? And sana po patuloy niyo kami pag-suportahan dahil marami kaming hinandang activities, hindi lang para sa ating mga interactors, kundi pati na rin para sa ating youth service directors and Interact Club advisors. And if you have questions, clarifications, mga paano ba to about Interact and Rotaract, please feel free to message us. Ako, si DRC Chok, si DCC, si Erica, si Alden, at ang buong youth service team will always be here to assist you. So yun lamang po at muli magandang hapon at maraming salamat.
You have no idea what's happening in this studio. So maraming salamat, DIC Princess, for sharing that message and announcement to everyone. So I think we're now ready to proceed to our next part of our program. Again, maraming salamat to the district officers. Thank you for joining us in this webinar. We really appreciate the kind of support you are showing. To all the presidents, yung mga immediate past presidents natin, salamat din po for being here with us. As mentioned earlier, meron tayong raffle, so wag muna kayong aalis dahil napaka-importante nung next part na yan. And to all the participants, to all the participating clubs, yung nag-co-host po, you will be receiving also a certificate coming from our district officers. Maraming salamat po sa inyong mga tulong. Alam ko, maraming mga club ang gusto pang mag-support sa project, but you have to remember, marami pa pong activities ang Interact at kukulitin pa rin namin kayo. So, sama ko rin yung Rotaract, syempre, no? Baka naman. Thank you po sa support ninyo. And to all our participants, thank you also for joining us because you will also be receiving your certificates as well. So, lahat po kayo na nag-register ay makakatanggap din ng inyong mga certificate of participation. A big shout out to all the teachers who also attended this conference dahil naniniwala sila na importante talaga ang usapin ng youth protection, especially ngayong mga panahon na to. And if you're a school at wala pa kayong Interact Club, whether you are from the district or outside the district, we can also help you start your Interact Clubs. Just coordinate with all of us. So, ayun po, maraming salamat sa inyong lahat. And before we formally end this event, ibibigay ko na po ang microphone virtually sa aming ever-supportive, life-changing President, Vanessa Diaz, para sa kanyang closing remarks. Vanny.
Thank you, Chuck. So, to our very supportive District Governor, Robert Coa, and EXICOM, a special mention to our SDG for programs, Joey Gabat, and new generation DCC, Juanito Boycao. Thank you for the trust of allowing us to host this all for the youth program. To our very hardworking tandem of Chairperson, District Interact Chair, Ces Encabo, District Rotaract Chair, Chuck Encabo. This will not be possible without you guys. Thank you for the resource person, DIR John Paul Deng Cabrera, PDRR Erica Paiwan Florendo, and Rotarian Alden Mamaril. Thank you very much for the powerful learnings and experiences you've shared to us. To my Rotary Club of Metro Escolta and our co-host club, thank you for all the support for this program. To the advisors, TPs, LCP classmate, Rotarian friends from 3820, and fellow Rotarians who attend this program, our heartfelt gratitude. As I see the program, I am glad that we really mind our youth, the youth that will build our nation, the youth that will be our future leaders and Rotarians, and the youth who will continue what we have started. Yes, they might be young, but nowadays with the advanced digital technology and fourth industrial revolution, our youth are now in the forefront of our projects. They really adapt and excel in responding to the pandemic. That's why it is important that we continually involve and collaborate with them to our project. Because with their creative and innovative minds, they will be a great help to us, not for the future, but even for today. So with that po, let's continue to invest, protect, inspire, and support them in how we want to shape our nation. I am glad to see all of you, and we hope to see you again in our next programs and projects. Thank you, and God bless us all.
Thank you.
Congratulations,
and
classmate.
congratulations. Ayan, nagko-congratulate na yung mga classmate mo dito. Thank you po sa inyong mga kind words. Thank you everyone. Maraming salamat po.
Congratulations po.
Cosby, thank you.
Congratulations.
classmate.
God bless
Ayan.
you.
Congratulations, mate.
Salamat
See you
Congratulations,
again po.
classmate Metro Escolta, Vanessa. Congratulations.
Bravo,
Thank you po.
Yes, congratulations.
Thank you po. And to formally close our program, I'll bring you again our district governor for the adjournment.
I now adjourn this 2021 New Generation Seminar.
Maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat. And before we do the raffle, may I invite everyone, including Cosby. Thank you, ma'am, for being here with us.
That's a
Thank you po.
wonderful good time. Thank you.
Thank you po. I invite everyone to go to menti.com. You can use the code 10332636 at pwede nyo din pong scan ang QR code na to. Go there and let us check lang, no? Let's try to evaluate lang yung ating event for this afternoon. Alam ko it's been a long day, no? Stressful ng konti, but again, this is a good time for us to see kung ano na po ang ating na-achieve as an organization. So please go to menti.com and let's answer this po. Do you agree with the statements about the All for the Youth webinar? Go to menti.com and answer po ang ating survey dyan. Quick survey lamang po. Oh, sir, the code is 1033. Tinatype ko din po 2636. Ayan po. Go there. Let's try to see. I've learned new things from this webinar. The speaker explained the topics well. I thought it was well organized. Tingnan nga po natin.
Meron na.
Okay. I hope meron na nga po kayong nakikita. Okay. Ayan. Thank you everyone for this positive feedback that we are getting from all of you here. So far, 4.7, 4.9, 4.75 po ang pinakamataas. Okay? This is a good way for us as a club to see kung ano pong tingin nyo sa aming webinar na ito. And if you wish to have more webinars like this, you let us know. If you want to partner with us in organizing the next webinars for your clubs, you let us know as well. Maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat. At this point po, I am going to ask everyone to turn on their cameras for our group picture. Syempre, hindi pwedeng walang group picture sa 3810. Here we go. And this is recorded, so gagawa po kami ng video din na i-upload namin sa page ng Interact. Sana na-like nyo na po yung page ng Interact at ng Metro Escolta. Sige, turn on your cameras now. Meron po kaming tatlong screens dito na i-screenshot. So, ayan po, stop sharing muna tayo. Okay. Before I announce the winners of the raffle, here we go. Okay, smile everyone. IPP Adonis, ingat sa pagdadrive. Smile. 1, 2, 3.
Thank you, Cha.
Ingat po. Smile everyone. Next slide. Next group. 1, 2, 3. And last one. 1, 2, 3. Kahit di po naka-on yung camera, smile lang. Maraming salamat sa inyong lahat. Here we go. Are you ready for the winners of the raffle? So what we did po, mga fellow Rotary friends who registered, nag-pre-draw na po kami. Very international yung aming pagdodraw ng mga winners. Okay? We went all the way from Japan. Si past President Erwin Makam led the draw para do sa ating raffle winners. And as mentioned, mamimigay po tayo ng 15 na 500 pesos na nag-register na GCash. So lahat po ng numbers ninyo ay nasa amin na. So hintayin nyo lamang po ang inyong mga prizes. Naka-wow si Erica with her baby. Syempre pa, no? So, kailangan ba ng pampagatas niya? Nasa yung mga ninong na Rotarian. Here we go. So, sino po ba ang ating mga nanalo sa raffle? Congratulations to the following winners. Babasahin ko po si Sabrina Nicole Samson, Monina Aliswag, Christine Francisco, Erwin de Guzman, Marilyn Romero, Bernadette Miras, Glidel Magnaye, Ziaki Patol, Baserly Aguilar de Leon, Arnel Barinque, Chris Vincent Meneses, Nick Lim, Alan Rios, Elaine Trajano Velasquez, and Eric Yu. To all our winners, maraming salamat po. And once again, on behalf of District 3810, our dear Governor, DCC Boy, SDG Joey, DIC Princess, and all the members, the happy Rotarians of Rotary Metro Escolta, maraming salamat po sa inyo lahat for joining us in this webinar for the first time, and we hope to see you in our next activity. This is Chuck and Cabo, your DRC and the Charter President of the Rotary Club of Metro Escolta, saying thank you, God bless you, stay safe, at magkita-kita po tayo soon. Thank you, everyone.
Congratulations again.
Thank you, Gov.
Thank
you po.
Thank you, Gov.
Congratulations.
Thank you po.
On that citizen and Manila Metro Escolta.
Congrats, DRC.
Salamat po.
everyone.
Congratulations.
Thank you po.
Under time tayo.
Salamat po.
Hi,
Thank you, DRC
Gov.
Chok. Thank you, DIC.
Thank you po. Thank you. Good
Thank you sa support.
Vanessa.
All the LC, thank you.
Ano ba ito si Mari? Anak ko ba yan? Ayun na, ibalik mo nga. Ibalik mo.
I can.
Bye-bye
Hi,
po.
Hi, Doktora.
Grabe, may grabe. Mr. and Mrs. Tan.
Maraming
Powerhouse.
All for the youth, syempre. BRRE, thank you, Tene.
Yeah, right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone. Salamat po.
Boy.
Thank you.
So, wait, kasi
Thank you,
naka-record pa.
Vanessa. So, everybody,
Thank you, everyone.